Yeah. So I don't know what Tyson Fury is doing. He's basically, you know, he wants to take those fans that apparently are leaving AJ because he said don't shop at white people shops, even though he never said it. But you got Tyson Fury now, like obviously he's trying to capitalize on that, take advantage of it. That's what he's doing. And let him take it anyway. AJ don't need those type of fans anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
What
I don't think it's Tyson Fury like trying to capitalize off of it. I just think that it's these boxing fans out here, and people are willing to listen to everything to the most idiotic shit. If you can like really go over there and listen to the video, you can literally go over there and listen to the video of AJ Spanking. And then you don't hear him saying shot black. He's saying that you should. He's saying it's like people should try to spend money within their community so that the money sticks within their community. You see what I'm saying? And people they switched it up and said he was talking about something else, which I find is disgusting because nobody is listening to it. Like as far as what I'm. Nobody actually going over there to listen to what AJ is saying. They just going off of the word of somebody else. And then some of these cats over here are purposely fucking lying just so they can create a buzz, get views, likes, and subscribers, or try to manipulate fans into going over that way towards Tyson Fury. And we all know what that is. And now I know people talking about, Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, be boiled down to race. It might, because guess what? That's what the media is making it out to be. If the media won't nip this in the butt, if MTK Global won't nip this in the butt, all these dudes on YouTube won't nip this shit in the butt and say that Anthony Joshua did not say this shit, which none of them have, it's going to end up being a race thing.
And that's what they want, like, because, for example, like MTK is with Tyson Fury. They haven't said nothing. That interview that I was talking about, when Tyson Fury said about AJ, that was with Michelle Jo Phelps, and she wasn't even like saying anything. She wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like the next time, I don't know if she's gonna get interviewed with AJ because she's let this thing happen, even though she knows the real truth. She could have said Tyson Fury like, oh, but he never said that. But she let it carry on.
Yeah.
So I just think he never said nothing of sort. AJ, he's got white blood in him. AJ is not racist. AJ just wants people to support their communities. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone supports their community anyway. You know what I mean? The only people that don't really support their community is, most black people, because there's not a lot of black businesses. So all he's saying is, go to those small businesses that are available, just pour money into that community. That's all he's saying, He's not saying like, don't go to white, Chinese, Asians. He's just saying, try help your own community. That's all he's saying.
Yeah. What the fuck's going on, man?
Oh yeah, I'm back in. Cool. Yeah, I just find it disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Just disgusting. It's like somebody coming out here slandering one of you guys, and then somebody asks me a question about it, and I know the answer, and I'm just like, well, we ain't talking about that. Let's talk about Michael Johnson boxing talking more, and but you know what I'm saying? It's like that. It's like you knew that you could have done something and nipped it in the butt and do the right thing, but people were just allowing this shit, and that's what it's gonna end up being. And no matter how we push it, no matter how we swing it, the race card always makes the most money in boxing. Always makes a lot of money in boxing when people want to make it a race thing, because now they're gonna probably get more ticket sales and pay-per-views, and then not only that, it's gonna be in another country too. So, poor old little AJ, man. It's just sad. It's like the dude should have just been doing this shit from the get-go. If AJ would have known that all that shit, if I was AJ and I was like, damn, I wish I would have known this like way back over here, because Now I know that they were just on my coattails because of I represent the UK, not because of the color of my skin. You know what I'm saying? And he should have just knocked all that shit off. Fuck it. He should have been saying what the hell he wanted to say and not being this so-called professional and gentleman and all that shit. He should have just been doing his own damn thing from the get-go. That way, at least if the fans would have.
And this is the thing. Yeah, and this is the thing. He can't say whatever he wants. You got Mr. Fury. He says whatever he wants. He can say, "Oh, I've taken cocaine for 3 years and I came back." He can say that, with his head held high, and he can get away with that. If AJ said stuff like that, they'd be like calling him a crackhead. He's nobody. This to start, and it's just a no-win situation. They just want him. All they were expecting from him, AJ, I'm talking about, is to be quiet and just to box, and that's it. Just box and just entertain us. Like I don't know, like a slave or something. But with Fury, it's like he can be vocal. He can say like, "Oh, I'm a wanker, this to start," and they find it funny. But with AJ, he can't even say like, "Oh, stand up for your own community." Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And that's what people got to understand is this is like, I'm not even an AJ fan. You see what I'm saying? I'm not an AJ fan. I'm not a Tyson Fury fan. But what I'm not going to sit around and allow people to sit up over here to besmirch people's names and just basically like spread lies. You know what I'm saying? That's not me. I'm not going to be with that just because it benefits Deontay Wilder's stock, how some people would say, doesn't mean I'm going to sit up over here and tell a lie. You know what I'm saying? And I find it I just look at it and I just seems that I'm like, it's just finding discussion like laws. You pointed out a few of them fake ass AJ fans, and trying to save their asses and make people believe that they never was an AJ fan. I mean, that they never was an AJ fan, but they was. They was. It was an AJ fan after he got whooped by Andrew Ruiz, and it was an Anthony Joshua fan all the way up until Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder in the last fight, and that's all it boils down to. They never had confidence in Anthony Joshua, and now they have Tyson Fury, and he's somebody they can relate to. Now they're just gonna gravitate towards him.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, me personally, I don't know. I think over here the UK fans definitely they definitely switch sides very easily, like the weather. I mean, 1 minute I've definitely, like I said, Mike, I showed you that guy who I'd seen him on numerous boxing channels, bigging up AJ, and then as soon as AJ did that, he was calling him a black Nazi and all shit like that. I sent you the screenshot of his comment, didn't I?
Yeah.
Tyrone, what you got to say, bro?
About what situation? This situation?
Yeah, because I'm going to move on quickly from this, but yeah, what have you got to say about it?
I mean, it's nothing nobody's never seen before.
Yeah.
People change, their opinions or whatever. And AJ can say whatever he wants if he wants people to support black businesses or whatever. I don't really care about what Fury has to say. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, the news doesn't blow my hair back. I'll say it like that. It's not.
Yeah, Tyrone's great. He's dry, but he's great. Go on, bro.
Right. So whatever.
Yeah. Just reading here what GB. Salute to you, GB, and Charles Miller, and the Black Banter, KQ, everyone. Just reading here. That's interesting what GB Boxing's just put. He's put, Solomon says he wants Tyson Fury to tell him his plans for his defense. Does Wilder Fury 3 happen if Fury is forced to vacate?
No, there's not going to be a vacate. There's no forcing nobody to do nothing. Fury is going to be franchise champion, and that guy will be upgraded to full easily. They'll just, I mean, that's the smartest. That's the only decision they have.
Yeah.
And just do that, take care of it, and boom.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, because if he was to if Fury was to vacate, if Fury was to vacate, that would just like literally like tarnish his whole career. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously you just ran from this guy to go up over there. You know what I'm saying? And you just breached the contract. Yeah, you're going to get sued. But I don't think Suleiman is out there asking Tyson Fury what his intentions is as far as that stuff. I think really the only thing it is franchise, and whether or not if they are actually him and Wilder is actually negotiating for the third fight. I think that's the only thing they want to know what their intentions is. And I'm pretty sure Marcelo Suleiman did the same thing with Deontay Wilder.
Yeah. The thing is, though, Mike, if like what Tyrone says, just salute Oddfell, I'll bring you in a minute, bro. Just thinking about what Tyrone's just said, if Tyson Fury gets made franchise champion, then obviously he'll give up the WBC belt, won't he? Because
the way
or would he actually?
No. The way it works with the franchise is that when you're the franchise champion, you didn't give up the WBC belt. You are the WBC champion. That's the thing. Unless somebody beats you, but even when somebody beats you, that doesn't mean that that person can take the franchise from you. He's still the WBC. He'd still be the WBC champion. He just won't have that belt.
Yeah, but the thing is with the franchise belt, though, you don't actually have to never fight your mandates, do you? You can pick who you want to fight. So I'm led to believe.
Yeah,
I think.
But the thing is, though, I think the franchise champion is nothing to do with being a champion anyway. You're basically representing the company. But you could be the WBC champion, but not be franchise champion. So you're just going to be the face of the WBC, but the actual champion. It's not a belt, It's not a belt. You can't win, you can't lose.
Belt or not, he would still be the WBC champion. Right. Belt or not.
No. They're not WBC champions. They're just the face of the company, but they're not a champion.
You're not getting it. You're not getting it. He would still be champion.
Yeah,
even without the
Lomachenko, wouldn't he?
He would still be champion even without the belt, unless somebody beats him.
No, that's not true. Even if you beat Mike.
Take the belt away. Take the belt away. I'm not saying that. We know who the champion is. We all know who the champion is, whether or not it's a franchise or a WBC championship belt. We know who's the WBC champion, and it won't be Dillian Whyte.
But Mike, listen. I agree with everything you said. Mike, I agree with what you said. But if you lose, you're still gonna be WBC franchise champion. It's not a belt. It's just a status. It's a status. That's what it is. It's just a status. Yeah.
Right, let's bring in Oddfella, because I want Oddfella to answer this question. Oddfella, you all right, brother?
Y'all know what it is. It's your favorite yet your most hated Oddfella. Salute to the whole panel. Salute to the LDBC. Salute to the chat. Lost D Punched Out TV. Respect for shooting that link to me.
No problem.
Regarding to the topic at hand, I believe we're talking about Fury, and his whether he's keeping the WBC, whether the WBC will elevate him to franchise. Off of what grounds would they elevate him to franchise for? Unless he was to fight an undisputed fight or fight a unification fight. Yeah. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Fury's the type that kind of always tries to go against the grain. So it wouldn't surprise me if he was just to up and vacate the WBC belt if they mandated a fight that wasn't to his liking. Because to be technical, Fury has owned every major belt in the division in the sport of boxing, whether it be the WBC, WBA, IBF, or the WBO. You know, dig? So technically, he can say in his own mind he's the undisputed champion. what remains congruent is the lineal champion, and that's what, you know what I mean. I put a lot of precedence on for Wilder to win this next fight and take that lineal ship, because that means the most. You know what I mean? Belts aside and whatnot. You know what I mean? So I think Fury understands that as well as too. So he can't be backed into the corner by any sanctioning body. He's gonna do what he's gonna do, and his promotional team, his management team will sell that, just like they sold that before he won the WBC title. They sold him as a lineal champion, and the boxing public, boxing media took that and ran with it. So if he does vacate these belts, franchise or not, it really doesn't matter. It's the fact that he's a lineal. It's the fact that he's still undefeated, and it's the fact that he's a visibly white boxer on top of the heavyweight game right now.
Yeah. Good point. Anyone want to follow up with that?
I think this lineal, like, I don't agree with the lineal. I've always not agreed with it. And I think Deontay Wilder himself said, you know, it's going to go in the trash, you know, if he would have beaten him in the second fight. So even Deontay Wilder doesn't believe in that lineal garbage, because the lineal, Klitschko, none of them was lineal. So because they didn't fight each other. So how can Tyson Fury still be lineal? So that's why this lineal stuff, it's not. It's just something that Fury just runs with it. It's not belt, it's some people created that stuff, blah blah blah. But yeah, man. Other than that, I got nothing else to say. Yeah, you go for it, Mike.
Yeah, I don't think he's lineal, and he shouldn't be undefeated either. So he should have an L on his record for getting caught taking PEDs.
Agreed, Mike.
So whatever the case might be with this dude, he could do whatever he want to do. You know what I'm saying? He could say whatever he want to say and stuff like that. And that's why, it's up to us as fans to believe what we want to hear, whether that is factual or not. I think that, if they could make WBC can make anybody franchise for any damn reason that they want. All it is that they got to sit up behind closed door and vote on it. And that's it. So it's not going to take a real fucking reason to make him franchise champion. And I can see that happening if White keeps running his motherfucking mouth. I got something to say about that White dude in a minute. Also, people still have to understand. This is how easy fight fans in the U.S. and in the U.K. And this is the reason why I'm saying, like, majority of these guys out here ain't boxing fans. You still got Usyk and the hide and seek champ over there. They mandatories, and he got to fight one of them two before he can even fight Tyson Fury. And everybody's forgetting about that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. Is like, I don't believe these guys are real. They're probably bots. They don't know or they just don't know what the hell they're talking about. So Tyson Fury might have happens to win Wilder. He's probably gonna have nothing but space and opportunity, but nothing to do but to fight Dillian White. You know what I'm saying? And then with this whole Tyson Fury something, I was like, ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do, blah blah blah. If Tyson Fury loses, check this out. Before he fought Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury even said it himself: if I lose, I might retire. If Tyson Fury was to lose in his third fight, he's gonna be happy listening to somebody.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to be. You're gonna be dictated to. And the other thing is, he ain't bigger than boxing.
Yeah.
He ain't bigger than boxing. He damn for sure ain't bigger than boxing in the USA.
Sorry, Mike, I missed that. But who are you on about? Because I was talking to my son.
Oh, a couple of things. Hold up.
I heard you say something about not real fans or something.
No, he was just going about the whole lot, like about
but
why AJ not defending his stuff. He needs to fight Usyk and them lot and all that.
Well, that's it. Do you know what? Right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to piggyback off the back of that. What Mike's just said then, because I didn't hear all of it because I was talking to my son. But I heard Mike say something before about Dillian White and stuff.
No, it's about the Dillian. What are we still on the topic? We still on one topic?
Yeah, I was asked. That's what I was saying to you. I asked you because I didn't catch. I
Let me
didn't catch
ask
what you were saying because I was talking to my son.
So with the Dillian, I said that I have something to say about that dude Dillian White, and this is what I got to say. The dude ain't sued yet. First of all, second of all, it might just be something legal internal with the WBC that he's going through. Like he has to go through a process with them first, and then if he doesn't like that outcome, then he will probably go out there and sue. And Marcelo Suleiman, he can come out here and he can say whatever the hell he got to say. He don't need no lawyer see when Marcelo Suleiman said my lawyer advised me not to say anything about it. Say anything about what? Everything with Dillian White, everything with you is documented on YouTube, news articles, Sky Sports, BT Sports, ESPN. Everything that has to do with Dillian White, and when it comes to the aspect, it's been documented. There ain't no. It's live live and in color. It's like we know what he did, we know what the WBC did, and so what are you going to sue for?
Well,
and I know that's a fact. You ain't found that paperwork yet.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Mike. I mean, I've been listening to KQ all week, like you were saying. Number one, he's got to go to Mexico.
No. It won't be in Mexico. Read the WBC rules.
Well, I'm just saying what I'm led to believe. He'd have to go to Mexico because that's what obviously where the WBC is based out of.
No, I'm telling you, Laws. Read the WBC rules.
Yeah, I will do. I'm just saying what I've heard. That's all what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I've heard. Well, I don't know. I forgot now what I was going to say, but well, whatever. He isn't going to win that case. I don't think.
Thing is though, with Dillian White, yeah, like he obviously, he's been paying sanction fee, yeah, so he's got the right, to sue, Mauricio Sulaimán, because at the end of the day, they gave him, the interim champion. They made him the interim champion, so he deserves to do that of his own back. At the end of the day, we might not like him.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm gonna have to disagree on that. I don't think he deserves to sue yet. You know what I mean? What has happened? You can't sue over the known that other champions are discussing future fights. He was mandated a fight in February 2021. February 2021 hasn't came up yet, but all of a sudden this man wants to sue off once again off of a big unification or undisputed fight. You know what I mean? To me, this might be posturing, huffing and puffing at the WBC, hoping the WBC might show him, throw him a bone and get a quicker shot at the title. But other than that, he has no legs to stand on because it's mandated that he fights at February 2021. You know what I mean? If it goes past that, then he has a leg to stand on with regards to taking the WBC to court because they're going against their mandate. But until then, I don't see what you're saying.
Yeah, but the thing is,
though, go on. You go for it.
Go on.
The reason why I said that is because, like, Dillian White, he's worried that AJ is going to get in front of him in case, Fury beats Wilder again. So he's just starting this proceeding, like, so then he can definitely be next, after the Fury Wilder, whoever wins, because AJ is now in a question for undisputed. So he's just trying to cover his back, that's what he's trying to do. So even though we heard reports of him trying to take them to court. We're not even sure if he's trying to take them to court. Sky is already been clickbaiting anyway. With Fury and AJ signed, the contract, even though they haven't really signed nothing. So I think he's just covering his back so he could be next.
And this is the thing. Even if he was covering his back so he could be next, he could have been next a long time ago if he would have fought Dominic Brazil.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he had to do so.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we know that already.
And he never did. So hold up. Even if he was to go out there and do that, it's the courts and still he can't do nothing about it, because guess what? When his ass set up over there and agreed to be part of the WBC, I'm pretty sure he has to acknowledge that he would abide by the rules of the WBC, and then that he would, act accordingly as a upstanding gentleman in the public and stuff like that. So if we know anything about the WBC rules, all it is franchise champion.
Yeah.
And who can do that? Who honestly would say that I'm going to sit up and fight Dillian White by choice, before I have an undisputed fight? Who in this room will go over there and do that? Waste all that damn time.
Yeah.
No takers. Huh? I don't have no takers.
Just my thoughts on it, just quickly. So I want to move on from that fucking clown. But it is interesting what you're saying. Salute Mog. GB Boxing's put Wilder Fury 3 will be a financial monster. Yeah, I agree, it will be. But me personally, like Mike said, Dillian White, I ain't got no. I used to like Dillian White. I used to think he was not a good fighter. I just liked his heart, because he's when he had that fight with AJ, he was up for it. But the way how the guys tried to I can't even say the word, strategically tried to move around the chessboard, and then he's ducked him, ducked that. Ortiz ducked AJ when AJ offered him the fight, ducked Dominic Brazil, ducked the Pulev final eliminator for the IBF, and Yuri Fury had to go and do it. The guy's just gone round in circles and found himself stranded out. He can't get back can't get back on the island. He's washed out to sea, and now he's blaming every Tom, Dick, and Harry for saying it's their fault, and now he's trying to sue the WBC. I don't blame Maurizio Sullivan for making him wait and stuff like that, because in my eyes, I've just seen him. I don't know. He's just a fucking idiot. I can't be dealing with the guy. I really can't.
I got one thing to say, and this is all I got to say about Dillian White. If he does sue, it would be in the United States. And the reason why I know that is every time somebody sues within the WBC, it doesn't go in another country. It happens in the United States. You fight in the WBC, you're not suing over nobody over there in England. You're suing somebody over here for a fight or breach of contract. You're suing them in the United States. And another thing, what happens is when you sue, like I said in a couple of those super chats and on my live stream, if you sue somebody, all your laundry is going to be out there, your dirty ass drawers that you thought you walked real good, that you got to sit outside on that clothes hanger in your backyard. Everybody's going to see that shit. You better hope that your emails are not in there. You better hope that your emails are not in there. You better hope that you've been treating people right, that they ain't gonna get requested up in there to speak against you. All that stuff, your whole boxing career, the Oscar Rivas thing.
That's another one. Yeah.
So you got to be real careful about suing, because when you start suing somebody, people get in the defensive mode, and then that's when you find out who's really grimy or not. Because hell, you suing somebody, and this person might get nasty and just bring out everything, all your dirty laundry, with no remorse. So he better be real careful, because guess what? I'm against that shit. He ain't sued yet, but as soon as they sue, I'm gonna be the first one smoking with the doc. Best believe that.
Yeah, Mike, at the end of the day, because I'm going to round it up and I want to move on. Oh, Tyrone's dropped off. Who's dropped off?
Mike dropped.
Mike dropped. I'm going to let Tyrone say something, because Tyrone hasn't said anything. I'm gonna. Oh, he's back.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna let you start this, Tyrone.
Yeah.
What do you think of? Because I've just been asked to bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of Mayweather Senior saying that Deontay Wilder is nothing but a piece of trash?
Nothing. A lot of people call Wilder trash.
Come on, Mr. Negative. Come on, man. You got to say something.
I mean, some of the stuff, like he said he was trash. I mean, I guess that's his opinion. There's a lot of heavyweights today are trash. So
yeah, but I was listening earlier, and Pat made a great statement earlier, saying, "Well, if you got 41 knockouts, how can you be trash? Whether you've knocked out 41 bums or 41 legit fucking top 2 heavyweights, 41 knockouts is 41 knockouts. Doesn't matter which way you look at it." I think. Go on, bro.
I think people should have checked him right then and there.
Yeah, me too, Mike.
I think somebody should have checked him right then and there and said, like, hold up, homie. It's like, look at the first fight, and then something was wrong with him coming into this fight, and he still went in there and tried to do what he had to do, but it didn't work. Another thing is, it's not like he fucking sit out over there, train fighters or pick fighters to win a fight, and they end up getting smoked. So
exactly, because it was Roger.
So sometimes you can't trust these motherfuckers that can't stop shaking when they're trying to wipe their ass. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about, you got that syndrome.
Yeah, we know. But let me jump in and say something. Last fight, he said that Wilder won the fight easily because he dropped him twice, and now this fight he's calling him trash. It's just like people anywhere. People are going to go back and forth. Larry Holmes was doing the same thing. I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah. So I heard another thing as well. He said that Fury was trash as well. He didn't just say Wilder was trash, because I read the article.
I think Fury.
Obviously, they like to spin it. Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, he said that Senior. Yeah, he said that they're both trash. But I don't think he specifically said it about Wilder.
But like the OG said today, how can he call Wilder trash? What's his claim to fame? Fighting Sugar Ray Leonard, which he got his ass handed to him on the plate. But the thing is, everything what Floyd learned all came from his brother, Roger. Roger was the one who brought Floyd up. And, well, I don't know if he brought him up, but I know the old man went to jail, didn't he? But everything what Floyd learned was from Roger. So for him to sit back and say that Wilder and Fury are trash and stuff like that, I think I read on Google where he said he called Wilder a piece of shit. I think that's what I read. But obviously, because I have the Google cards and all my boxing channels, like on Twitter and all that, they're all linked to it, so anything what comes up. And I swear that's what I read where he said, I could be wrong, where he said Wilder's a piece of shit or something like that. And I thought, fucking hell, you know what I mean? How can you say that? You didn't even look, like the OG said today, you didn't even look after your brother when he had, did he have Alzheimer's in the end or something? Towards before he passed away?
Yeah, he had a whole mix of stuff. I mean, Floyd told a story about how he walked over from the MGM Grand to his house by himself in the heat, 17 miles.
Yeah.
So,
but I think that's a joke for him to say that. End of the day, we'll soon see in this fight. What bring Godfellow in? We'll soon see in this fight who's trash. I think it's going to be
we will.
Yeah, Oddfellow, what you got to say, bro?
I mean, Floyd Mayweather Sr. is a decent trainer. He does have he has the right to say what he wants to say with regards to boxing. But in this case, we got to take it as the man is clout chasing, taking a page out of Top Rank, out of Matchroom's book. When you want the odds to, you know what I mean, of the boxing community to look at you, you call out Wilder's name and defame him. You know what I mean? Because there's no grounds he can base Wilder being trash on. As the other brother said, you know what I mean? He says Fury's trash as well. You know what I mean? Maybe he doesn't like the two characters or the two boxes, but as far as their boxing abilities go, there's nothing he can stand on with regards to saying that they're trash. So in my mind, he's just clout chasing, just to get some attention on the Mayweather gym, get attention back on Mayweather Senior himself, and that's what it's about.
I think maybe he said it out of anger. I don't know, because like I was shocked when I saw Wilder go down like that to somebody like Fury. And I've said, even Fury beats him now, or Fury beats him 10 times over, I still will stand on my square and say that he's trash. That's just how I feel. I'm not impressed by Fury or any of these guys. And people have to stop riding their dick. You know, look at the resumes of these dudes. Sit down with yourself. They pick and choose their fights. Their style is not all that, and they put most of us to sleep, some of these heavyweights. So just because they're heavyweight champion of the world doesn't mean the best comp is out there at all. So why are we so, I don't know why, like, I'll call him trash because I think he's garbage, Fury. I'm not a fan. I'll never be a fan.
Yeah, when you see Fury's fights, he's trash. Yeah, absolutely.
He's not nice.
All
these guys
I wouldn't call him trash. You can't call him trash, man, because
no, you can't. Exactly, you can't call him trash. You know what I mean? That's a fanboyism if you calling him trash. You know what I mean? If you're assessing his boxing pedigree, you know what I mean? He has skills, straight up and down.
Now, he has us as boxing fans, man. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. If you want to say that Tyson Fury is trash and that's what you believe in, go on and say what you got to say. That don't mean that you don't know what you're talking about. That don't mean that you a fanboyism or something like that. That's his opinion. You know what I'm saying? If he believes that Tyson Fury is trash, let him go on and believe that. That's his business.
Yeah.
No, basically, the reason why I say Fury is trash is like big fights, like even the Klitschko fight. Like I was like bored, like I wanted to sleep. You know, against Wilder, like Wilder made it more fun. The first fight, other than the other fights with Fury, like Schwarz and Walling and stuff like that, it's boring, man. Let's face it, that's the truth. Like most of Fury fights, like they're not really exciting. Like the only exciting thing is it's just a ring walk, and that's it. But when he's in a ring, he's just doing just jerky movement. And I agree with Tyrone, man. I find Fury absolutely trash, man.
At least Wilder puts people on their ass.
No, listen, you're misunderstanding what trash is. He's unentertaining. Being unentertaining doesn't mean you're trash. Understand? You know what I mean? Yes, he outboxed a gold medalist that was reigning for like over 10 years in Vladimir Klitschko. But yet you want to call him trash. No, it was an unentertaining victory. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, he beat a long-standing champion. You know what I mean? And then you know what I mean? Coming off the couch, pretty much 2 comeback fights. He pulls off a draw with the baddest man on the planet, but he's trash. You know what I mean? Listen to what we're doing here. Now we're discrediting, you know what I mean, the champ's resume by saying Fury is trash. And what are we doing here? He might be unentertaining, not the most pleasing to watch, not the most visibly pleasing to watch, but we can't sit here and call him trash. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, but he picks his moments, like you know, with Klitschko, like. Klitschko wasn't ready for that. Klitschko wasn't ready for that type of style, you know. And
No.
when
Yeah,
he was
but,
ready, Fury ran away.
on.
Like Fury didn't want a rematch. And
No,
look with
I'm
Wilder,
gonna
the first fight.
disagree there, Pep. I'm sorry. Yeah, go on, finish up, bro, and I'll say
And
my
and
bit.
yeah, and the first fight with Wilder, like Mauricio Sulaimán ordered an immediate rematch. And what did Fury do? He didn't take the fight. Fury, he likes to play games and stuff like that, and this is why I call him trash. Maybe it might not be the right word to use, but that's the only word I got available right now to me.
Right. Well,
My thing.
Go on, Tyron. No, go on, bro, and I'll say mine after. Go on.
Laws before this fight, the Fury Wilder 2. I mean, most of us were not thinking much of Fury at all. We thought Wilder was going to steamroll him. He didn't stand a chance. Most of us, it's the truth. Most of us thought he was going to bulldoze him, get right past him, get over to something new, because he already knocked him out the first time.
Yeah, I thought if you can remember, I said it'll go to points.
Yeah,
I had Wilder winning on points.
But we were saying at first, when it first started, he'll knock him out in 7. Me and other guys were talking about 2 and 3. Like, this is just going to be another day in the office. It'd be very simple because Fury, I'm not interested in the herky-jerky movements and the flicking and all that. He puts his tongue out. He can do all that stuff. That does not mean you're nice. Who have you beat to show that you are nice? Klitschko, Wilder, Hammer. Is that like,
Yeah.
Chisora twice.
Well,
young, fresh Chisora twice.
I'll throw old tight member.
Chisora?
I want to say my bit. Yeah. But right now, listen, Tyrone. Listen, bro. I knew Pat because I see where both of you coming from. I saw where Mike's coming from, but I'm strongly with Oddfella. Right. I totally agree with what Mike said. First of all, Mike said, end of the day, let me give this brother a wrench. Time to ante up. Salute to you, bro. I'll just give you a wrench. Thanks for coming through. Right, quickly, before I just go for a cigarette, I just want to say this. I totally agree with what Mike said. Mike's right. He said, end of the day, we're boxing fans. We can say what we want. If Tyrone wants to say he's trash, then that's fair. And same with Pep. And if we say he's good or he's mint, or next man says he's mint, whatever. But the thing is, Tyrone, I totally understand what you're saying. You don't like the herky-jerky style. But, Tyrone, it's effective what he does. It's not, like Oddfella says, he's not entertaining. He's probably the one of the most boringest fighters ever. But you can't, me personally, this is just my personal view. Chi-Town, salute to you, bro. My personal view, I can't sit here and say he's trash because at the end of the day, he's gone to 2 champions' backyards and he's beat them. Now, whether he cheated against Wilder, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? What I'm trying to say to you is Pep said Klitschko wasn't ready for that style. But the thing is, Pep, you've always got to be ready when you're a multi-world champion. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether Klitschko was ready or not. You've got to be ready at all time. It's like they say in boxing, don't they? Protect yourself at all times. You've got to protect yourself. So I'm going to jump out and let you brothers talk quick. But me personally, I can't sit here and say he's trash. That's just my point of view. I don't dislike him or anything. He's not my style of fighter, but I can't sit here and say he's trash. Right, I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, I just think, maybe trash is a bit, too much, but I just think Fury, the things that he does, like, he calculates it, like, like the rematch with Wilder, immediate rematch, he didn't give that to him. With Klitschko, he didn't give that to him. Like, everything he does, like, is frustrating, like, I don't find fun to watch him. But a lot of people say he's got skills, this is that. But against who, though? Because a lot of these people that he's fighting against, they're not really going for his, like, they're not going to the body shot and stuff like that. They want to headhunt. Imagine if there was somebody out there, like maybe AJ can do that, I think. Maybe he can go to his body, and maybe he can get him out of there. This guy, he gets too much respect for my liking. And he's already been compared to Muhammad Ali, to some people, which is very, very extreme. You know what I mean?
By the machine.
Yeah, there's too much of that going on. Like, I mean, I don't care who fought who or how much I like a fighter. If his opponent was a bum, his opponent was a bum. I mean, Brazil was a bum. That's just one example. You know.
Okay, look, for example, can I make an example? Yeah. You know, AJ, he fought Brazil, yeah?
Brazil
People say like,
AJ fought a bum too. Eric Molina, super bum, school teacher. I mean, I just say it. I don't care whose side I'm on or who's, you know, which side of the fence I'm on or who I don't want to be in good favor with, because nobody's paying me to say anything. So I can call. I don't care about calling fighters bums or fighters trash, or if they're good or if they're nice or they're not nice.
Exactly, and I think that's why, like, we have our own opinion and we're entitled to our opinion. I only like what I even prefer to watch Dillian White than Tyson Fury for some reason. It's just my opinion, you know. That's my cup of tea, because I expect Dillian White. I expect to see a left hook at least.
He didn't fight Warriors Row either. None of these guys have fought. You know, a whole list of guys you would say, oh God, you know, that guy can really fight. You know, these guys have all. I mean, Dillian White, look who he fought now. Chisora twice, passed it. Joseph Parker, he doesn't care about winning or losing. He's just there to take part, really. Patrick Starr, fucking Lucas Brown, and The Big Show in Dubai. Is that, you know, does that leave you starstruck? Just amazed, like, wow, look who he fought. He's such a good fighter. No, I don't.
No, not at all. Not at all. But you can argue that for the whole division.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they really got to start to mix it up. I look at the division as like it's still it's popping, but it's still young. You know what I mean? Where these guys aren't mixing it up yet. And that time, I believe that time will come. You know what I mean? But we're just not in that time yet.
They need to start fighting each other, man. Blood.
I agree.
Yeah, Blood videos, man. He doesn't care about who he offends. These guys are not fighting each other. They'll have a top 10, and nobody in the top 10 fights each other. So what's the point of the top 10? To fight guys in the top 20? I mean, just the point is.
Well, that's the major indictment on Dillian White. You look at his resume within the WBC, he's the interim champion, but he hasn't fought near nobody in the top 10 in the WBC. So how is he like calling out for a champ? How is he the mandatory? How interim champ? It don't make no sense.
It makes no sense.
You know what I mean?
And Helenius knocks out that fat fuck a couple months
ago.
Baby Huey.
Yeah. Now he's going to be a mandatory for the WBA. This is a guy who was supposed to be Gerald Washington's retirement party. I'm going to slide into Gerald Washington. Pause. Gerald Washington is another bum who's not interested in boxing. He's too scary. He gets in there and he's afraid to get hurt. I mean, he hasn't beaten nobody here has fought nobody. That's what's crazy about it. You might have one or two people who fought like maybe one person or two people, but that's max. You don't have a group of guys who each of those guys have fought 5 guys of note. I mean, Dominic Brazil is supposed to be a perennial contender. This is a guy, and I'll show you guys the article. 10 years ago, what's his name? Don King put out an all-American heavyweight camp to save the heavyweight division from the Klitschko's. Who was in that camp? Brazil, Charles Martin, guys like these, who they said had to be 6'4" and above 230 pounds and athletic. These are guys who are carpenters, failed football players. I mean, they're just using boxing to make money. And that's cool, but don't tell us we have to support your habits.
Yeah, you know, like a lot of people give like Derek Chisora a lot of credit, like, and they say like, Fury, he beat Derek Chisora, but guess what? Robert Helenius, that bum, he beat Derek Chisora back then. So the Derek Chisora that Fury beat wasn't even all that. This Derek Chisora, this new Derek Chisora, you know, that's knocking people out. This is a different type of Derek Chisora. This is the Derek Chisora that I want to see with Fury. Do you know what I mean? Like, so all these people like giving Fury the credit, Like I'm sorry, man. I can't give Fury credit, man.
Listen,
I can't give him credit.
you have to give him some. I don't like Fury. I don't like Fury neither. But you have to give him credit because you look at Derek Chisora. He's a high class journeyman. You know what I mean? Because he has a bunch of he has experience. Like, you look at his resume. He's fought literally everybody in the division. You know what I mean? With exception of a couple names. You know what I mean? But regardless, you know what I mean, he's put his record, he's put himself on the line to fight, you know what I mean, a lot of up and comers, a lot of formidable contenders in the division. Even back in the day when he was when he got knocked out by David Haye, you know what I mean, and that was a prime David Haye. David Haye that had a lot of believers thinking that he was going to be the one to dethrone the Klitschko's. You know what I mean? That hype train was going heavy. You know what I mean? I remember those times. I was on that train. You know what I mean? I thought David Haye was the guy. You know what I mean? But that didn't come through. So you got to give respect to even though that he has a lot of L's, he still has those experiences that has built him to where he is today. Still contender in the division. You know what I mean? He's still, you know what I mean, not I wouldn't call him any type of elite, but he's still there to, you know what I mean, be a good trial horse to the up and comers, to be a good trial horse to, you know what I mean, sharpen the tools of some of the elite fighters up in there and maybe get an upset in the mix. You know what I mean? So we can't discredit Derek Chisora, especially for what he's done. Tyson Fury's been able to beat him twice, and the second time knock him out with ease. You know what I mean? Then we have Vladimir Klitschko, who he, you know what I mean, easily beat. Klitschko's resume, he cleaned out during his tenure, he cleared out the whole division. You know what I mean? So we talking about a guy with massive experience that got totally outclassed and outboxed by a guy that you was calling trash. So we have to be careful with our words, man, and be more specific and more educated. You know what I mean? When we're describing, you know what I mean? I think champions, top tier is, yeah, he's a cheater. Yeah, he's a piece of trash outside the ring. You know what I mean? But inside the ring, what he's done in boxing, I have to rate that. You know what I mean? I do have to rate that. It's not the greatest. It's not the greatest with regards to what we've seen in the yesteryear. You know what I mean? But this is what we have right now, and hopefully in the future, you know what I mean, in the near future, these guys will continue or start mixing it up on a more frequent basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Derek Chisora again. I looked at his on BoxRec on his resume. He lost recently as well, just before he fought the second fight against Dana White. He lost against a guy called Ajit Kabayel.
Ajit Kabayel, he's an up and coming German. You know what I mean? But you looked on his BoxRec. Did you see the fight? You know what I mean? Derek Chisora's head wasn't in it. You know what I mean? It's not like he got totally washed in that fight or knocked out or he was hurt, stumbling around. He just came. It seemed like he just came for the check. You know what I mean? In Monaco or whatever, and that was that. You know what I mean? Salute lost back up in the building. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was an L on his record, but it was still an experience. You know what I mean? He's still fighting. He's still mixing it up with contenders, and that's you can't say that for a lot of these fighters. You know what I mean? In the top 10. You know what I mean? So that's why I have to give credit to Derek Chisora. You know what I mean? And if you beat Derek Chisora, that's a good win.
I just think Derek Chisora is just the gateway, just the gateway, just to enter that gate. You just have to beat Derek Chisora. I don't think he's anything other than that.
He's a high-class journeyman. You know what I mean?
A gatekeeper.
A high-class gatekeeper. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that, fam.
Yeah, excuse me. You can't, me personally, I agree with you, Oddfella. I can't call him trash because of the things what he's accomplished. He's still unbeaten. He's not my type of fighter, but just going back to earlier what Pep said, like I say, you can't say Klitschko wasn't ready for him, man, because at the end of the day, you got to be ready. All boxers, especially world champions, have got to be ready at all points. Doesn't matter who you're fighting. You know, I watched Amir Khan versus Bradus Prescott the other night because Sky was showing it on YouTube. End of the day, they were blaming Frank Warren for saying how could you, because Amir Khan had a couple of wobbles in previous fights, and they were saying how could you have put him up against a guy at the time who had 19 fights unbeaten and had 17 knockouts. Well, I'm sorry, but if Amir Khan agreed to take that fight, yeah, still rocking Man City, always Mog, you know that. That's my team. End of the day, if the fight was put to you, I'm not saying Khan wasn't a world champion, but I'm just saying it as a boxer, if a fight's put to you and you agree to take that fight, whether you lose, win or draw, whatever, you've got to be ready for it. Now, whether you're mentally or physically prepared for that fight, that's another subject. But if you accept that fight, then you've got to be ready for it. That's what I'm saying. And I can't say, me personally, I can't sit here and call Tyson Fury trash. I definitely agree with what Tyrone said earlier when I heard him say that they were comparing him to Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
not a fucking chance. Oh, right. Sorry. So it's you, Pat. Yeah, I totally agree, Pat. He doesn't even come nowhere near close to Muhammad Ali. Nowhere near close. But at the same time, he's an unbeaten fighter. Personally, I don't know. Personally, I find him quite boring to watch. But he gets the job done. And whether he's cheated or whether he's boring. I mean, like the Otto Wallin fight, you watch that fight, that to me was, he lost that fight because that damn cut, definitely, if that was over here in the UK, that fight would have been over, definitely, with that cut. Otto Wallin put hands on that boy, but it is what it is, isn't it?
The thing is, though, like, obviously, like, they want him to be like Muhammad Ali, but he will never be Muhammad Ali, even if he retires.
I don't think
undefeated.
anyone will be ever Muhammad Ali, bro.
And that's the thing, they're trying to push the agenda with Tyson Fury, you know, like, especially him going to America. Like, why is he not left up here in the UK? Like, you know, like, because they know the truth about him. You know what I mean? Like, he's not what he is. Like, okay, you're undefeated so far. But the thing is, what he does, like, he always, like, he does it all carefully, his fights. He plans it all carefully. They used to say, like, Deontay Wilder picks his opponent, just decide he cherry picks. But it's actually opposite. It's Tyson Fury that does it. Everything that Tyson Fury does, yeah, is like picking his, like, moments. That's what he does. He takes advantage of his moments, and that's what he does.
But I think, to be honest, though, Pep, if we're being realistically, though, bro, as boxing fans, we can say there's a lot of boxers out there what pick the fights.
Almost all of them.
Exactly.
Almost all of them.
There isn't real many true fighters out there who just. That's why I love Devin Haney so much, because he's not scared to open his mouth, and the boy wants smoke. He's a young lad who's dedicated himself to the sport. He's always in tip-top shape. He's always training. I follow him on Instagram and Twitter. He's forever putting videos on social media of him training. He's always calling fighters out. Same with Regis Prograis. I love Regis Prograis. I think he's a great talent. Them sort of type of fighters, to me, there isn't many of them type of fighters around. There's so many fighters in this sport what just tiptoe the way around, isn't there?
And then the thing is, a lot of these fighters will start the calling out after they have gotten to a level. I love Gary Russell. You know, I really like Gary Russell's skills, everything like that. But let's be honest here. He didn't fight anybody until he fought Lomachenko. He was forced to fight Lomachenko, actually, and did really well.
Yeah.
You know, he's a good fighter. But even his management chose all of those, you know, guys he was fighting till 20-something odd fights. All of these guys.
Yeah. Tyrone, I speak to you behind the scenes very often, and I can see why you get frustrated, bro.
Because I wake up, I might go, get something to eat or go work or come back, play 2K, get balled up in 2K. So I'm mad as hell. Then I come over here and I just think boxing, and it's just gonna I get even more frustrated because this sport is just from hell sometimes. We are not getting the fights we deserve. A lot of these guys have mansions or whatever, and they fought nobody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating. But back to that subject though. I mean, I know you absolutely fucking hate him, Tyrone. I know that. But I mean, it's very similar to Thingy. I mean, I've been listening to, like I say, the OG today about Cal Brook. Cal Brook wants that smoke with Crawford, and I've heard a few people say Cal's finished. Me personally, I don't think Cal's finished. I think he's got something left, but whether it's enough to win a world title or not, I don't know. But I do quite fancy that fight with Bud. I think Bud probably will beat him, but I think it'll be a good fight. How long for, I don't know. I could be very wrong. I think Cal might get totally whitewashed. I don't know. It's a fight that I really fancy.
Carl Brook ruined himself when he faced Golovkin. Carl Brook should never have faced Golovkin.
Facts.
That's what ruined him. That's what absolutely ruined him. And
yes, I know.
The thing is, with Spence, it would have been a better fight with Spence.
Excuse me.
And this is why I think he is not. The reason why I'm saying that, the points that I'm trying to make is he's not the same again after Golovkin. So that's why when he steps up at the top tier with people like Spence and Bud, I think there's no place in there. I just think he's not on that level.
Let me tell you y'all a story about that whole Kell Brook and Golovkin situation, and see what y'all think. You know what I mean? Since y'all in the UK, dig. Now, with that whole situation, we all know that Eubank was supposed to get that fight anyway, but then they ended up giving it to Kell Brook. You know what I mean? For the bigger money. He could have unified with Jesse Vargas at welterweight, but he took the bigger bag and ended up fighting Golovkin. Now, before that, training for that fight, I believe he sustained an eye injury. You know what I mean? I believe he sustained an eye injury getting beat up by Leanne Beefy Smith. There was reports out there, you know what I mean? It showed his eye was blood up, that same eye that he got stopped in a fight with Golovkin, you know what I mean, was puffed up in training, and they was questioning, there was reports because they was questioning if he could take, you know what I mean, the punches from the bigger weight, from the middleweights and whatnot. Beefy Smith was giving him that work and sparring, you know what I mean? Now, come to fight, he fights Golovkin. He's looking nice. You know what I mean? The first couple rounds and shit, I was off the edge of my seat watching that fight. I remember it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I thought Brook was gonna do something. You know what I mean? Then Golovkin kind of turned it around and started landing his shit. But before he could really land anything solid, you know what I mean? I think he did touch him on that eye, and that's where I feel it was a staged stoppage, you know what I mean? Because he kept on looking at it, Mark Engel, his cornerman, his trainer, you know what I mean? And that's when his trainer knew, you know what I mean? He knew about that pre-existing injury. So it was like, okay, let's stop the fight right here. You know what I mean? Kell Brook's got not on his knees. All right, let's throw the towel right here. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
What you on about? You on about the Spence fight or the Golovkin?
No, I'm talking about the Golovkin Kell Brook fight, because a lot of people try to say that kind of ruined his career, but I think that injury existed before that fight even took place. They knew it was going down. Golovkin touched it, you know what I mean? Probably, you know what I mean, aggravated it, and they stopped the fight. He wouldn't go any further. That's why Kell Brook was so quick to, you know what I mean, quit. I mean, go down. So in essence, I don't know. I mean, Kell Brook going back down to 147 at this point, I think weakens him. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's any reports of this being a catchweight fight, or if this is at 154, if it's a weight at 150 or whatever. But if it's at 147, I highly favor Bud Crawford. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, I'd rather see Bud Crawford solidify that fight with Pacquiao, get that unification going. You know what I mean? Because that's one step further to undisputed at welterweight. You know what I mean? Since niggas love those belts, you know what I mean? I prefer to see Bud versus Pacquiao, but the Kell Brook fight, it is somewhat intriguing on paper, but yeah, let's be real with it. He's coming down in weight at 147. We haven't seen him at 147 since he got beat by Errol Spence Jr. and that's years ago. You know what I mean? So I really don't see it. Like I said, I'd rather see the Pacquiao fight.
Yeah, I sort of agree with you there, Oddfellow, but there's certain things in that what you've got to think about as well. I.e., number one, Triple G was 2 weights above him. And everyone doesn't like Triple G, but one thing you can't take away from Triple G, the boy had power. So if you watch that fight, if you look at Kell's face after, it's not only as his eyes smashed, one thing I can always remember from that fight with Kell Brook and Golovkin is Kell's nose was absolutely splattered across his face. He had blood pissing out of his mouth, blood pissing out of his nose. He was all over his face. And like I say, let's not take one thing away from Triple G. The boy can hit. But
I think he just broke him. I think he broke him altogether. His body, his face.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say, Pep. Me personally, I think Golovkin just broke him down. But I don't know. I mean, I've not seen that what Oddfellow was just talking about. But what I did see in the Errol Spence fight was what Oddfellow's just been talking about. I seen him looking before he took the knee. I saw him looking at Dominic Ingle all the time as if say, "Oh, I've had enough now. Get me out of here." Because that was a fucking fantastic fight, by the way. I take my hat off to Kell Brook and Spence because me personally, I had the first 6 rounds. I had Kell Brook winning it, and then round 7, I don't know what Spence's trainer had said to him, but Errol Spence just come out a totally different person, and he put the pressure on him, and he kept putting it round 8, round 9, and then round 10, and by round 10 he was hanging on in my eyes for the dear life of him. But what Oddfellow was just saying, what he did against Golovkin, me personally, I've not seen that. But I definitely did see him do that against Errol Spence. He looked at Dominic Ingle as if say, "I'm fucked, I can't take no more," and then he went down on a knee. So that's just my point. I just quickly want to say salute to Russell Newton. Fucking hell, Russ, where have you been? Where is he? He's in the chat somewhere. I've seen him. Yeah, salute to you, Russ. He's a long-time subscriber. Hope you're good, Russ. Yeah, so if anyone wants to piggyback off that.
Yeah, I think Spence might be too strong for Brock, but I think with Bart, I think he might have a little bit of chance. I think Spence is more like a proper fighter, but with Bart, he's more like a skillful fighter. So I think and him being a bit smaller as well, maybe he stands a chance. But I don't know if Brock can go down, because of him being in junior middleweight, and Bud is in 147. So I don't know, man, if they're gonna meet, man, unless they can meet each other at catchweight. But I think Kell Brook, he stands, he's not gonna win, but he can give him a good fight. If Amir Khan can fight him, I'm sure, and I believe Brook is a lot better than Amir Khan. You know what I mean? So I don't mind seeing that fight if it ever happens.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I I think it all depends. Sorry, I'm just trying to type at the same time. It all depends to me what weight they're going to fight at. Like Oddfella said, Kell Brook can't get back down. He can get down to 147. Anyone can do it if they want to, but he's going to be drained. He hasn't got the engine what he once had, so that's going to take it out of him. 154, he can't make 154. He's like trapped in no man's land. If they were to fight at 150, I don't know. I definitely put it this way: in my eyes, Bud would probably win because Bud is a fantastic fighter. You can't take that away from him. Whatever you want to say about him, he doesn't fight the top opposition what he should be fighting. But Bud is a fantastic fighter. But one thing you can't take away from Kell Brook neither. Kell's no fucking mug, man. Kell is no mug. The guy knows his way around the ring. He's only got 2 losses on his record. If he keeps saying how he keeps moaning that he's got the heart for it and all that, and he still wants it, you don't know. But that's a fight I'd be very interested to see. Who wins? Probably Bud. But I think he'll definitely give Bud. I think he like someone just put in the chat before. Someone said that Spence said that Kell Brook was the hardest opponent he's ever fought. And I think if Bud was to fight him, I think Bud would probably say the same. I think he'd probably lose to Bud. But I tell you what, I definitely think he'd give him trouble for half of the fight.
Yeah, and I think like Kell Brook as well, like he's a warrior, Kell Brook, whatever you want to say about him.
Exactly.
He fights anybody. He'll fight anyone. And win or lose, you know, he literally fought for everybody. So, and I think if it was up to Kell Brook, I think Kell Brook would fight Bud. But I don't know if Bud's team wants to take that fight because, you know, it's a risky fight as well, innit? And I don't know if the reward is high, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a very risky fight for Bud, man. Because Kell Brook, yeah, like you said, he's not a mug. He'll fight. Like, you know what I mean? He'll fight anyone.
At 150, I actually see a very good fight. You know what I mean? A very good chance for Kell Brook to win that fight. You know, dig? He's underrated. Like, his strength is underrated. You know what I mean? Kell Brook is a very strong boxer on the inside. He can tie up he can ragdoll you, you know what I mean, and get his punches off. So I think he could be able to bully Bud on the inside, you know what I mean? But he has to have the strength to do it. And you know what I mean, withering down to 147 at this point of his career and his age, I think is somewhat of a risk, you know, dig. But at a catch weight, yeah, that's a very, very interesting fight. You know what I mean? And I have to, you know what I mean, reassess that, you know what I mean, and give a stronger campaign for Kell Brook. You know what I mean? Because like I said, he definitely has the skills, but his strength is underrated.
Well, that's what I mean. This is. I asked the OG today on his live stream. I said to him, I said, me personally, I think it's a great fight. I said, who would you have win? And he virtually said the same thing what you said, old fella. 147, definitely you'd have to pick Bud. At a catch weight, you would probably have to go with Kell. But one thing what the OG said today, what did strike him in mind, he said, like what you've just said, he said, Kell Brook is a great fighter on the inside, but Bud would never fight him on the inside because me personally, like what I was thinking, I think Kell would be way too strong for him on the inside. Like you say, he'd be able to spin him on the ropes, lean on him. He's a bigger guy. Bud would have to box him on the outside. That's how I would see that going. And I think then I'd have to hand it to Bud. But let's not forget as well, Bud's no spring chicken neither. What is he, 30, 31? What's Kell Brook, 32?
No.
Facts.
35.
Possibly. Not facts. Maybe. Approximately.
35. I think he's 32, 33. I don't think Kell's 35.
34.
34. Okay, then fair enough. Yeah. So they're not. So he's what? Bud's 30, is he?
Bud's like 32.
Right. So there's not much in it then.
Only these guys fought when they were like 27. But this is boxing, so it's not going to happen in this day and age.
Yeah. And bro,
another factor we have to bring up that I don't think why the fight possibly won't happen in the near future is just what's going on with the pandemic and travel. You know what I mean? Being that Kell Brooks in the UK and Bud's in the US, travel between those countries I think is still banned. So it looks like Bud will probably be getting an opponent that's still in the US mainland, and it's looking more so to be you're doing this Ugas.
Ugas.
Mm-hmm.
Is he definitely getting that fight? Yeah. Is he definitely fighting Ugas, or is it just is it rumors?
Those are reports. His name is now being flyed out there as well. You know what I mean? But it makes the most sense with regards if we see Bud fight, you know what I mean, in the summertime, say in July or something like that, or August, with the current travel bans, his opponent would have to be in the US. You know what I mean? And Ugas is in the US. I believe he trains out of Miami. He's based out of Miami, so that fight can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like what you said before, Oddfella. Oh God, it's slipping my mind now. What did he say before? Oh, Curtis Anderson, salute to you, bro. Salute to you. Brock was overrated in my opinion. I don't think so. Me, GB Boxing. I think Cal's a good fighter, man. I think me personally, I think that, I now have remembered what Oddfella said, but I just want to clear up what GB's just said. Salute to you, Curtis. Me personally, just my opinion, I don't think Cal Brook was ever overrated, because I think anyone who can go over to America and beat Sean Porter on his own back garden, I think that's a tremendous achievement, because me personally, I think Sean Porter's a fantastic fighter. He's not got the best style. He's not got the best boxing IQ, but one thing you can't take away, a couple of things you can't take away from Porter. One's his heart, two is his dog. And he's got an effective style of smothering you, but he gets the job done. So that, in my eyes, was a big achievement to beat Sean Porter, especially when Porter was unbeaten as well.
But that's become the problem nowadays. They do something good like that, and they just regress. They go downward spiral. They fight Kevin Bizier or Jojo Dan, and they don't follow up on an achievement like that, even though that they had plenty of time before to fight nothing but bums. So when they move up, they say, well, I think I'm good. I'm going to go back down. I'm going to fight the nobodies again. But then when I do have to fight the top people again, I lose. So if it's like, imagine if you were to bench laws, right?
Yeah.
And say you have a max of 315. You're working up to 315. So you said, you know what? I'm good. I don't want to hit 4 plates. I don't want to go to 405. I'll just rep out 135 for 20 every time I go in there. Yeah. And never improve upon my success and get better.
Yeah.
That's boxers nowadays.
Well, I think.
Yeah, go on.
I think to say Carl Brook is overrated and what GB Boxing saying, I have to disagree, man. You can't say stuff like that. If Carl Brook is overrated, then a lot of boxers, they're all overrated, all the boxers. You know what I mean? Because he's a good fighter. He's got the heart, and he's only got 2 losses on his record. So to say that he's overrated, man, come on, man, GB, you're not being fair right now, man.
No, I don't mind if he says that he's overrated, because to GB, he probably sees it as if, this guy hasn't fought. He hasn't won fights.
Decline. Yeah, I see.
The GB is like, yeah, I mean, his resume beyond Porter, beyond Spence, beyond Golovkin is pretty suspect.
Like
my brother Tyrone brought up getting busy, you know what I mean, and Mr. JoJo Dan, you know what I mean. Those aren't really names to sneeze at, you know, dig. So I can see where GB is coming from with saying Brooks overrated, but nonetheless, when I look at him fight the elite fighters, he does give him that smoke. You know what I mean? Well, whether he got, you know what I mean, busted and stopped at middleweight by Golovkin, he looked good doing it, man. He had me entertained thoroughly for those 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah, and like Shaitan, look, he's saying like people like American, they don't want to fight him. Like, what can you do? Like, you know, they don't want no smoke from Kell Brook. Kell Brook showed in the past that he's willing to fight the likes of Porter, Spence, Golovkin. And he wanted to fight America. He's been chasing America for years. He don't want that smoke, and even the other guys. So, you know, sometimes what can you do about it? But from what I've seen, is like, you know, he wants it, but they don't want it. Sometimes, you know what I mean. You can't do nothing about it. You know what I mean?
This is what I was going to say. Look to you, Black Star.
If I hit the mute.
Yeah, just mute him in, bro. And then when I call you in, I'll hit the mute. I'll call you in. Salute to you, bro. Yeah, just can you hear me?
Yeah,
you straight, you straight.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
No, let me just tell Black Star. Oh, fucking hell, what's going on here? No, I don't know. Black Star, you'll have to mute your mic, bro. And then when you want to talk, I'll bring you in.
Black Star, you're on mute.
Right. What I was going to say is, talking about his resume, I can understand why some people are saying that he's got a bit of a suspect resume, but you got to think there's some good fighters on there who he's fought though. Porter, Errol Spence Jr., Triple G. You know, they're good fighters, but I understand, like what Tyrone said before. Once he had them fights, he's sort of over since Errol Spence Jr. beat him. He's definitely slipped down now. Big time, yeah. I agree with you, Tyrone.
I personally don't think he's overrated. I think he can fight. He can fight, but I don't mind if somebody calls him overrated because that guy might be looking at who he's fought.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
because you might know somebody's skill, right? But if they don't prove it by fighting anybody, then what does it mean?
Yeah. Well, look, Tyrone, this is why I'm behind Kel at the moment now, because he's been calling out. He's been calling Bud Crawford out since Christmas. He's tried twice to make a fight with him, and
I mean, it's really somebody who's trying to throw a Hail Mary. Really, it's a no hope kind of a pass, hoping he could get some money because he's poor.
But the thing is, though, Tyrone, we can't disagree here, brother, that just because of his age and he's not been active or he's been fighting bums, we can't disagree that the guy is showing hunger, and he might totally get whitewashed, but you never know. He might beat the fuck out of fucking Bud Crawford.
I'd be hungry, but I'd be hungry too if I hadn't eaten in a while. You know what I mean? You know, I'm not saying it's.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Tyrone. That hungry in a while might be enough to fucking put Bud Crawford on his arse.
It could be, but he's definitely not calling him out because he wants to fight the best. I mean, none of these guys are. They're calling them out because they need some money. That's all.
Yeah. Could be a good point.
I see a little bit with that. I can argue, but I'm not really gonna argue that point. I mean, I'm gonna have to agree.
Blackstar, what have you got to say on it, bro? Blackstar Sports, what have you got to say on this subject? I think he's having.
We can't really hear you, Blackstar.
Yeah, I think he's having difficulties.
We just building on the Kell Brook. Is he really overrated? You know what I mean? Should he be fighting Crawford, Bud Crawford next?
Yeah, do you know what? That's what I'm saying, Oddfellow, because I've been watching just lately. It's been making me laugh. The banter between Carl Froch and Joe Calzaghe. Carl Froch has been slating the hell out of Joe Calzaghe just lately. But I can always remember Carl Froch calling him out. He called him out several times after fight, and Joe didn't want no smoke with him. But there's nothing to say that Joe Calzaghe would have beaten him, and there's nothing to say he would have lost. But me personally, just quickly on them, and I'll go back to what we were talking about. I rate Joe Calzaghe, but I don't rate him as a Hall of Famer, because I think that just my personal view, I think, like Carl Froch said, he had that WBO belt for 10 years. Okay, he defended it, but who did he defend it against? And he never went across the pond and fought Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., or James Toney, any of them fighters when they were in the heyday. Two good fights I can't say against him was when he beat Byron Mitchell, because that was a fantastic fight. That was. Byron Mitchell nearly had him out of there, and how he ended up coming back, I don't know. And the other one was when he beat Charles
Jeff Lacey.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Charles Patrick Brewer as well.
I think Calzaghe had some good wins. You know what I mean? He retired undefeated. He beat some Hall of Famers that were past their prime. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to discredit him for that. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not.
He still has Roy Jones Jr. and Bernard Hopkins on his resume, even though that really. But at the same time, was Hopkins past his prime? Because after that, after the Calzaghe loss, he went on to, you know what I mean, be a light heavyweight champion for years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Exactly. You know what I mean? So he also got Pascal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, one of those titles up there, but nonetheless, I think Froch is just being salty. You know what I mean? He's usually being salty with Andre Ward, and now it's with Joe Calzaghe. I don't take nothing away from Joe Calzaghe, man. To me, he could have fought. He could have fought him back in the day. There's other fights that could have been made, like, you know what I mean? I remember that time when 160. I think 168 had a bunch of belt holders. There was that other cat, that German cat I couldn't stand, Sven Aki. Y'all remember Sven Aki? I think he retired undefeated too. That made me so mad. That hurt me when he knocked out Anthony Mundine, because I believed in Anthony Mundine as a young Australian Aborigine coming up in the boxing game. You know what I mean? I thought he was gonna do something, and him getting stopped by the lightest punch in Sven Aki just hurt my soul. You know what I mean? But like unifications like that, I wish there was happening more frequently. I think he did fight Byron Mitchell in the unification. You pointed that out, Losty, earlier and whatnot. But salute to Joe Calzaghe. I gotta give credit to him, man. You said he's not a Hall of Famer. I beg to differ. I think he is, man. Just by, you know what I mean, fighting those a washed up Roy Jones, you know what I mean, Bernard Hopkins at the time, Jeff Lacey. To me, he was overrated hype, but that was still an excellent victory.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot on the line at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was an excellent unification fight right there, and there was a lot of hype behind it, and he got the job done. You know what I mean? So I definitely remember. To me, that was a highlight of his career. You know what I mean? Right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was
go ahead. I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. He did some good things, and I'm not dogging him for that. But me personally, I can remember at the time when he was the world champion, and at the time Roy Jones Jr. was in his prime, and I always remember a media guy, I think, was it Colin Bell from The Sun, asked him, "How come you never fought Roy Jones Jr. in his prime or Bernard Hopkins?" And he said it was over money. Now, it very well could have been, because let's not forget these fighters, you know, they want a purse. If they don't get it, they're not going to fight. But I don't know. It could be me being biased. I'm a Carl Froch fan, big Carl Froch fan, but I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. Salute to you, Stormy. I sent you a link if you want to get on. I just don't give. Oh no, it's hard to say because he's unbeaten and that. You know, he did beat Kessler at the time when Kessler was on top of his game, so I can't take that away from him.
Facts. I forgot about the Kessler victory too.
Yeah.
Mikkel Kessler was no joke.
Exactly. Kessler was a good fighter, man. Good fighter. You know, but I think what it is with me and Joe Calzaghe, Oddfell, I just wanted him to fight. I wanted him to go over America and fight Bernard Hopkins, James Toney, Roy Jones. I wanted them fights because I wanted to see how good he actually was. But I just think I'm sort of like I'm stuck in the middle over him because he was good. Jermaine Taylor was a good win for exactly. You see, that's where exactly, GB. That's where I give Froch his credit as well, because he went over there and fought Jermaine Taylor when he was I don't know if he was in his prime, but at the time, I think Jermaine Taylor was a great fighter. I don't know. It's just, I suppose it's a fight which I wish I'd have seen, but like Russell Newton just pointed out, they were different eras, weren't they? Because when Froch came on the scene, Joe was virtually hanging up his gloves. But I just feel there's something in me what just says, I just wish I'd have seen how actually good Joe Calzaghe was. And that, to me, would have been going over to America and beating Roy Jones Jr. or Bernard Hopkins. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, let's get back to let's finish up, because I'm going to get off in half an hour. So is there anything specifically anyone wants to talk about for the next half an hour? Smash it up with whatever you want. Anything, Tyson Fury, or what's going on in the light heavyweight division? Is there any movement in there?
I haven't heard anything from that division in a while. All I remember is Beterbiev beating Gosdick.
Yeah, he's retired now, hasn't he, Gosdick?
Oh wait, actually, I take that back. Gosdick retired, but they're going to make Joe Smith versus Eleider Alvarez for next month.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be for the title. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Black Star, can you hear us, brother?
Nah, the mic's still bad. Black Star, mic check 1 2 1 2. Nah, we can't hear you, brother.
In and out. So yeah, who Black Star, can you hear us, brother, or what? No, he doesn't even know.
Wait, is your friend Dogs of War joking?
What's that?
Did you see what he put?
No, he's taking. Yeah, he's messing around. He's a white lad, isn't he? Because Dre's just put. What did Dre put? To Happy Father's Day to all my black brothers, and he's put. What's he put? Fuck, I need glasses, man. Happy Father's Day to all my white brothers. Moggy, you fucking clown. Nah, he's messing around.
Happy Father's Day to everyone, man. Happy Father's Day to everyone.
That's what I was just about to say. Happy Father's Day to everyone. Nah, Tyrone's got a thing for Moggy, man. He always goes at him.
I mean, to be honest,
you see him though, Tyrone, mate. I know. Mate, honestly, our Stormy's here. He's a good lad, him, mate. I'm telling you. I've known him for years, mate, since he was a kid. And me and him have been good friends. He's a good lad, mate, honestly. I know he's a Tyson Fury fan, but we're all here. We can support who we want to support. We agree to disagree, as the OG says, and end of the day, we keep rolling, don't we? That's what it's all about. We're all boxing fans at the end of the day. Stormy, how are you, brother?
What's good, brothers? Can you spare some change? What's going on up in here?
Anything you want to talk about, Stormy?
No, I'm just glad to be invited, man. And I was listening for a few minutes, and I didn't even see the message that you sent, for the link or whatever. But appreciate it. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
Yeah, I'm good. Stormy, I want to ask you a question about the linealship. Like, who decides the linealship? Is it historians or how do they make it anyway?
Who decides it?
Yeah, like the last time you said no, it's not the historians. You said that in the chat when I was saying historians made it all up and all that. But I just want to ask you, how is it decided? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's really it's not a point of like who's deciding it or whatever. When you know the history of the sport, you can trace back what has transpired. Now it's the men involved that do things to their own based ends that will make something, one way or another, and then that's where the break off happens. Because take someone like Lennox Lewis, for example, who was the last undisputed, heavyweight champion. Now, when he went away from the sport and the belts and titles became available, there is a precedent set for what transpires and how lineage picks up and stuff like that from that route. But nobody's been adhering to that. So, for me to come out and say, like, that's why I say it's not us who determine that. It's the actions of the fighters in the ring. And since you got guys now trying to create their own narratives for how they're going to go about doing the business, conducting the business, it's all in the toilet anyway. You got to get someone out there who wants to establish something and begin from that point. But for right now, you're looking at, for the heavyweight division at least, Lennox was the last undisputed champ. Everybody else that has come forward with belts and titles and things like that, they're all basically, and until people sort things out in that ring, they're just creating more avenues. It's almost like in the sense of how you could say the sanctioning bodies have created things like franchise championships and stuff like that. That's the same thing. It's like helping to create broken lanes to get off the correct path of things. And that's all for money. That's what it is at the end of the day. So I wouldn't even worry about lineage and everything. You can't even get these guys to get in the ring and fight quality opposition today. So why even worry about it?
So Fury is not a lineal champion then, yeah? Is that because I don't think he's a lineal champion until he becomes undisputed, but a lot of people argue about it. So what do you think about that?
I don't think about that. That's the thing. What I say, when you guys hang your, I understand where you're trying to go, but why with Fury? Fury has had so many the ring problems that, and then we're not even talking about currently. We're talking about after he faced Klitschko. Okay, he had so many out of the ring problems and everything. No one really wants to deal with the issue of that. The man should have been stripped from the titles he had and everything for the reasons that no one likes to really focus on. But everything else that has happened subsequently, how Joshua ended up with the titles that are in his possession, all of that is a part of this game that they've been playing.
Yep.
And then when Wilder had the WBC, there were opportunities for certain individuals to challenge him that would have connected the line of lineage, but people avoided that. So he got the Raw deal and the short end of the stick, even when he was carrying the WBC title, which is why, like, if he happens to regain it in a third fight with Fury or whatever, he should throw it away, because they don't.
Are we better off not having a linealship then? Are we better off just to forget about the whole lineal and just concentrate on, you know, the 3 titles or 4 titles that is available, not the lineal?
You're better off putting the pressure on these fighters to fight people, to fight who's there. That's what you're better off doing. Any of that other stuff is just helping to create avenues for them to divert. Okay, that's what they'll show you something fancy and be doing something else around the corner. That's all that is. You know, you need to demand that these men get in the ring and fight each other. If you fight each other, somebody is going to be standing when the dust settles. If you're not fighting each other, everybody can run around, just like you've been seeing during this hiatus. They can get on social media, talk their talk. They can speak about being this and talk about how they're even better than Ali and everything else. But it doesn't mean anything because they're not doing anything. So get off of the focus of who's the champ, who's the lineal champ and all that, and get on the focus of telling these guys, get your butts in the ring and fight somebody. I don't care who you are. I don't care what belt you are. I don't care what franchise. Fight somebody. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I'm standing over here, you standing over there. We talking about how tough we are, but if we never mix it up, we'll never find out who's tough or not.
Yeah, exactly. Just quickly, Black Star, can you hear us, brother?
His mic is messed up. His mic, you know, I think he can't get through because of his mic.
Yeah, Stormy, I was listening to your Friday night chat session last night, and you D-style with Reggie, man. D-style with Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
Dude.
Again.
Say that again.
Hey.
Tyrone's mic is messed up as well.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Better now.
Yeah, I was talking to Stormy. I said, Stormy, man, you D-style and Reggie last night. All that stuff, man, these guys kept going in about how people weren't fighting each other and the whole social media stuff. And that's what we need more of, man. Because these guys really aren't doing much of anything.
Unquestionably. And it's taking the sport into the toilet. Boxing is not in the toilet, but the participants of boxing are in the toilet. You know what I mean? I don't know about you, but I like to flush the toilet. I don't like to see those logs floating around in the water. You understand?
I was laughing. You said these trainers are shit.
They are. Just look at the track records. It'll show you everything you need to know. Huh? And that's why these guys can go from trainer to trainer, because they're not learning a damn thing. Yeah. You understand? It's like the truth of everything is right in front of your face. You don't have to look behind you or under a rock or whatever for what's obvious. Huh? But people do that because they like to be able to pretend. We live in a society now where they give you consolation and participation acknowledgement. Not for being the best, but just because you participated.
Yeah, they just like to take part.
So if you're a guy that's hardworking, you rolled your sleeves up, you've done your research, you've done your dedicated work, and you've actually earned some type of merit, the other guy who didn't do anything, who had so many followers on social media and everything, should get the same acknowledgement and possibly pay and everything else as you, and they ain't done a damn thing.
Yeah.
The thing is though, Stormy, the people from back in the day, the fighters, you know, the money wasn't it wasn't a lot of money that they were fighting for. You know, they were fighting for pride, but now they're fighting for the money. That's why they're not all fighting against each other. This is the reason. Money is the trouble and the problem for me. I think, you know what I mean.
Don't get that twisted either. The men still fought for purses. They would have to fight a few more fights more frequently because the purses weren't as high. But at the same time, they had integrity. You understand? They had integrity and they had respect for themselves and what they were doing once they got in the ring. If you look at the guys, you can go back just like 20 years ago and a little bit before that, maybe into the 80s. You look at the fighters that fought in the ring, look at their bodies. Those are conditioned fighters that you're looking at. You're looking at guys who, even when they weren't scheduled to fight, they stayed close to fight weight. These guys today are blowing up 35, 40 pounds over the weight where they participate.
Yep.
And then in their gym, their training camps become fat camps, losing weight to make it and everything. And they're just, the dedication is not there. The teaching is not there, because if you had a solid teacher, the teacher is going to remind you of why you don't need to blow up 30 pounds over your weight class and things like that. And I'll tell you something, and I said it last night in the chop session, when you're training in there, you're still getting hit upside the head. And that ain't for the purse. That's for free. So you're taking lickings in the gym, because guess what? When you're 40 pounds overweight, 35 pounds overweight, you ain't as quick as you're supposed to be and everything. So you're taking punishment. When you get in that ring on fight night, when it's for real and it's live and the curtains are open, don't forget those camps. You've been taking something. Okay? So why not be honed and dedicated and focused in everything the entire time? Look at how Lennox lived his life. He started his family personally after his career.
Yeah.
You see? He did it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
He has all the time in the world now to spend with his family and everything. Yeah. And he enjoyed what he had to enjoy during his career. But at the same time, you can't tell me there was a more focused person out there that was able to accomplish what he accomplished. Because if he wasn't as dedicated and focused, he would not have achieved what he did. And he's one of the only few fighters in the history of the sport that could say he literally beat every man he's faced in the ring.
Yep.
The thing is though, like obviously all these the current boxers, they follow on, like, you know, other sports stars, like, you know, football and basketball and all that sort of stuff. Like they're having families and, you know, while they're in the sport, so that's what they're doing. You know, they like, I don't know what to say about that, because it's just, it is what it is, you know. But blowing up and all that sort of stuff, yeah, there's no excuse, you know. You can still have a family, you know, and all that sort of stuff. And they just need to be more dedicated, yeah.
Dedication is only part of it. Remember, you can be dedicated but unfocused at the same time. How about putting that focus in there? Because if you're focused, then you know what you have to do. You know what the task is at hand. You know what I mean? There are too many people who make excuses instead of trying to find solutions. Everybody wants something easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You wish that you could sit on the sofa and something goes over to the fridge, open it up and bring you your favorite beverage while you don't even have to get off your ass. And they working on it. You understand? But it's like, who wants that really for themselves? I don't want that. I want to be able to get up and go to the fridge. The day that I can't get up and do what I want to do for myself, I might as well be dead. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, the fighters as well, like they're not fighting against each other. I think it's more to do with the promoters as well, because the promoters are controlling the narrative. So, you know, sometimes it's about money, it's 50-50 40%. This is the problem as well. It's not always the fighters' problem. Fault. They just follow the promoters, like people like Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Heyman. These promoters are controlling the narrative. That's what I think anyway.
What do y'all brothers think about the current, boxing that's been going on with regards to Top Rank? There have been fights on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and whatnot. No fans or whatever, but there's still somewhat of an ambiance watching the fights. I believe Top Rank and ESPN have done a good job visually, as well as audio. I kind of feel, where's PBC at with their schedule? There's definitely a bunch of fighters, maybe not in the elite ranks of things, but the lesser fighters that, or the up and coming fighters we could see on cards where these top, the elite fighters might want to hold back because they want to fight in front of fans because of that bag that you talk about. So with that, I got to salute Top Rank for actually giving us some boxing, to look at, fighters that we probably haven't discussed or seen before. That was a good fight between Joshua Bridge Jr. and Magic Michael Plania. It opened my eyes to some skills in the bantamweight division. But what do y'all think about the boxing that has been presented to us, nonetheless, and what some of the other networks have yet to do with come back and show us some boxing and some innovators?
Yeah, I think I agree with you on their production. I think they did have a good production with the audio, the visual, the ambiance, all those things. Yeah, that's definitely true. But as far as the fights, kind of has me shaking my head. Now, I always bring up the UFC. I did a video on the UFC, I think last week or a while ago now. And they have production, the video, audio too, but they're bringing, most of the fights they're bringing are solid fights, are decent fights. Now, granted, are they doing shady business practices? Yes. I mean, I heard a story about Daniel Cormier, one of their best champions. He's always wanted to fight somebody. Back in the day, he tried to negotiate from 60 to 60 to 80 and 80, meaning 80 to show and 80 to win, 80K. And Dana White started to scream at him. So they are slave drivers over there. It's true. But if they do one thing is they do bring the fight. So morally, it's wrong. But as the fan, it looks good for me. So it's
real quick. I see what you're saying, but we can't compare a league to like Open Enterprise.
That's true. Yeah. That's one of the other problems in boxing. It's not, I'm not saying it has to be like an amalgam. It has to be, kind of one monopoly, but somebody has to find a balance out there between guys just sitting down, not fighting anybody, and guys who are, forced to fight for pennies on the dollar. So it's hard to find that balance. I'd be lying to you if I say I had the answer, because I don't. The only thing I'm doing is complaining about it. But it's just the truth. There has to be some sort of middle ground, I think.
I think Top Rank, they capitalizing on this situation right now. I think I don't know why BBC hasn't gave us any fights yet. The UK, the fights are going to be back in July, August because of the pandemic. But yeah, Top Rank, they showed us good fights. Shakur Stevenson, I've seen his fight. Even though it's quite late for us to watch in the UK. Jared Anderson, heavyweight prospect. He's doing all right. They showed his fight. And other fights as well. Can't remember their names, but at least they're showing us, something, some boxing at least, you know what I mean? But why is BBC not showed us any fights yet? I don't know. Maybe they haven't, agreed with the broadcasters yet. But yeah, credit to Top Rank, man. They gave us, some fights at least, you know what I mean?
So you
go
got something to build on with regards to what we've been seeing ESPN Top Rank Boxing. It's not been the best cards. Unknown fighters we've been seeing other than Shakur Stevenson, who I want to talk on a little bit later. But what's your feeling about, you know what I mean, what we've been seeing so far?
Well, just as you were asking, that you pretty much gave my answer. It's like it hasn't been much but Shakur Stevenson, and the fact that they're doubling down by giving you, twice a week cards of this nature. That's why I refuse to tune in and watch. Why I want to watch people I don't know, people that are starting out, and it's like that. If I had a chance to go watch the NBA, I'm gonna watch the NBA. I don't want to go watch the B League or the C League or nothing like that. You know what I mean? And that's not to be disrespectful of those guys, but you're talking about my preference. My preference is I want to see the name fighters, the guys that we've been clamoring for and everything. They want us to come back to the sport of boxing. Give us something to come back to. Stop putting on this bull crap, huh? It's like, again, they throw baloney out there, and if people hungry, yeah, they'll eat it, huh? But you can't throw the baloney out there telling me that you're serving up steak, because I'm going to wait for mine, and I like mine, medium well, huh? Don't give me this bull crap and try to sell it to me. I am not an advocate for them trying to flood the market with stuff that when they've got much better in the back room, waiting for what?
Facts.
Get these guys back active. Let them out there, get the fighting. 1 through 10 contenders. Let's see them mixing it up against each other. Why we gotta wait and see a guy who might be ranked number 4 or 5 in whatever weight class fighting another dude that he ain't that is not gonna have a chance against him, even less than a sparring partner, and you putting him on the air. I don't want to see that crap.
Facts.
Show me the real deal. Show me what is supposed to be representative of the sport of boxing. You putting them on TV so you can freaking pay them, huh? So you ain't got no audience in attendance. There's still money out there. These guys are just scamming us. They're scamming. So it's like I choose not to even tune into that foolishness.
Yeah. And do you know what, Stormy? This COVID-19's had these boxers talking bullshit, aren't they? I'm going to do this. I want to fight him. I want to do that. But guarantee, bro, once this COVID's over, they're just going to disappear into the background, aren't they? I mean, i.e. Dillian White, i.e. Ryan Garcia, i.e. a lot of fighters. And they're fighting bums and stuff like that, aren't they? Or they will end up fighting bums. I'm like what you've just said there, Stormy.
And let me add to that, because Jupiter B was saying in the chat, he says personally he likes to see the up and coming guys. That's not to say that we shouldn't see up and coming guys, but we shouldn't see up and coming guys in main events and full cards. We're supposed to see the real dudes out there. See, that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna accept them ramming this down your throat, they're gonna do it until you gag. I'm telling you. You have to demand that they put the quality out there. It's nothing wrong with having Shakur Stevenson out there facing someone like Gary Russell or Tank Davis or something like that as a main event, right? Because then you can put a couple of those up and comers on a undercard leading up to the main event or whatever. And guess what? You'll see them because you're waiting for the main event. You see what I'm saying? Because you tuned in for the main event and you happen to see some young up and comers do their thing, maybe even intrigued by one or two of them. But don't give me them as the whole meal. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I don't know, Stormy, because at the same time, when pre-pandemic, you know what I mean, when the NBA season's off, you know what I mean, I still watch Summer League. You know what I mean? When the NBA draft is done and you see those rookies get their first taste in the NBA. I'm hearing the echo.
Yeah,
somebody need to mute their mic.
Black Star, bro, what are you on your computer or on your phone? If you're on your phone, best thing to do for your mic, bro, is just plug a set of earphones in, just a pair of earbuds or anything, because that'll pick it up. Or even on your laptop, just plug a pair of earbuds in or earphones, anything, and it'll pick it up. Can you hear us, brother?
No, his mic ain't working.
It sounds like a space, isn't it? Like we're in a space.
Yeah. Sometimes
maybe he needs to fall out and come back in or something.
Yeah. Fall out and then come back in. Plug a pair of.
Yeah, fall out or mute your mic, man.
Yeah, if you're on. His mic's not muted, Godfella. His mic's working, but we can't hear him. He's just dropped out, Stormy. Oh, Stormy will be back.
But I was saying, like, when the NBA season's complete and we get the NBA draft, you know what I mean, and those rookies and those you know what I mean, those free agents and whatnot go into that summer league, I watch that. You know what I mean? I'm interested to see, you know what I mean, what rookies are gonna go in and free agents, up and comers, you know what I mean, are gonna go into the next season and make an impact. And this is the same thing we're seeing with these top ranked cards. They might not be the best guys, you know what I mean, the best matchups, but we are seeing some guys that we might not have seen before that have the opportunity to be elite, to have, you know what I mean, a chance at a world title. You know what I mean? We are seeing that. And me personally, I'm into that, you know what I mean? I'll watch that, you know what I mean? Because some blame, has to be put with the promoting network, but we also can't forget that we got to put some blame on the fighters, some of the big time fighters who are holding out for a bigger bag, you know what I mean? When the fans come back, if they ever come back, you know what I mean? For bigger opportunities in that nature. So some of that is being played around. That's going on as well. So we can't forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that should not become the credo that you live by, though, fella. See, you said that you like to see the rookies and you like to see the free agents do their thing and whatever, but you wouldn't like it if they so-called put those guys out there like they were the NBA. Okay, and then that's all you seeing. You see, then you'll be griping. You'll be like, wait a minute, now I've had enough of this. Whereas the real Golden State Warriors, not their farm system. Whereas the real Lakers and not these guys. Again. But see, this is what they're doing to us with boxing. They saying boxing has returned. As far as I'm concerned, boxing ain't returned. Where's Earl Spence? Where's, the guys that I know? Where they at? And you can't say, well, like you said, they holding out for a back. Well, then boxing ain't returned then. Because these other guys, they cannot sell the sport. People don't know who they
look
are.
Here, big time boxing ain't returned, but you know what I mean? At least we seeing some fights. You gotta, you know what I mean? If you refuse not to, you know what I mean, not to watch, that's one thing. But you know what I mean? I still gotta salute a network that's putting out something. There was another fight that, you know what I mean, that was a decent fight that got canceled due to COVID related issues and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, they're putting out a little something, you know what I mean? And some of the blame has to go with these big time fighters that won't come to the table and get in the ring, you know what I mean, and fight with no fanfare. And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
I agree with that. That those fighters should take some of the blame for not doing that. But what I'm also saying is like, you cannot tell me the sport has returned and the people who can carry the sport have not returned. And lastly, when you look at it, for these fighters that are going to be fighting, even before we had COVID-19 situation, okay, these guys weren't getting in the ring mixing it up. And I've been talking about it since then. So it's like I've still have stood my square in talking about these guys getting in the ring and mixing it up. What is really going on? You have a division and you have rankings, and these guys are going outside of the rankings, fighting opponents. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Look at the two guys when Tyson Fury opted not to fight the rematch with Deontay right away. Look at the two fighters he fought, and where did he get those guys?
Yeah,
seriously,
Oscar Wilding and Tom Schwartz.
When he could have fought someone else in the top 10.
Yeah.
If you go back to the 70s, George Foreman came back fighting guys like Ron Lyle.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, come on, Jimmy Young. Those guys were in the top 10. You know what I'm saying? It's like he didn't go out and find somebody that was not ranked at all or in the top 50 somewhere. He fought people you know. He fought Joe Frazier a second time. He beat Joe Frazier soundly the first time. He didn't have to fight him a second time. He could say, well, I whooped Joe Frazier. I knocked him down 5 times in the first fight, so I don't have to fight him again. No, he said, Joe wants some more smoke. Here we go.
Well, that's what means, Stormy, because like you just pointed out against Otto Wallin and Tom Schwartz, Otto Wallin, when he fought Tyson Fury, before he fought Tyson Fury, if you check BoxRec, he wasn't even ranked in the top 50. But as soon as that fight was announced, he dropped in something like the top 12, top 15, top 10 even maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. And because of the way he performed, why didn't he get a title shot? I'm not a title shot, forgive me that. Why didn't he get a shot against somebody who's like in the top 20 or top 15? Exactly. Because of how he performed. See, that's what I'm saying. You cannot sell me this crap and then tell me it's not crap, and then go back to behaving like it's crap. You see, because Otto Wallin, because of how he performed against Tyson Fury, opening up the cut on him and all that, and taking him 12 rounds, is like, okay, let's see him in against another top 15 guy. Maybe he got something. Maybe he don't. But it's like they sold it to us, so now they have to prove it to us. And then you have to prove it to me that Tyson Fury can beat somebody in the top 10. Do you realize he ain't fought nobody in the top 10 except for Deontay Wilder?
Yeah. Well, and Klitschko as well, though, because
Klitschko is retired.
No, I mean when he fought him.
How many times has he fought since he fought Klitschko? This is what I'm trying to tell you.
I know, I know what you're saying.
That's the point I'm making. He's been delayed.
I'm just saying he did fight Klitschko at the time. He was obviously in the top 10. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And when he got the shot against Klitschko, what top 10 opponent did he beat before he fought Klitschko?
Well, yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. He's probably Derek Chisora was his best friend.
So they've been pulling our chain for a long time. How many years ago was the Klitschko fight? They've been pulling our chain a long time, bro. And it's time for that to stop. It's time for the boxing fans. If you're truly a fan of the sport, you got to talk about these things. You got to stop continuing the narrative that they've been putting out there, because it basically that's saying that you settled. you've conceded to that. I haven't conceded to anything like that. That's why I keep talking about is the sport is in the toilet and the logs is floating around. You need to flush that shit. Yeah. Okay. And then it's like these promoters, Top Rank, PBC, whatever. Yeah, they can put on these cars with these guys you don't know or whatever, but that ain't what you're supposed to be seeing. The sport was having trouble before the COVID-19. If you really want to bring people and asses back to the seat, put some quality matches on and people will be there just like that at the drop of a hat.
Yeah. Well, as proven last year, what was probably one of the best fights, what was called for and what did happen, in my eyes, was probably Spence and Porter. There was no... There were other good fights, but what I'm saying, like you say, the fights what we should have been seeing and fights what we should have been getting, I can only really say out of my eyes was Porter and Spence.
Thing is though, like, I'm not really settled as well, like what Tommy's saying. Yeah, like a lot of us are, it seems like, we're settled, we're happy with every single boxing fight that we see, and this is what's wrong with boxing. Because when I look at football, like we call it like football, but you guys call it soccer, and we don't watch like the B tier or C or whatever, you know what I mean? We watch the main tier, you know what I mean? So it's like I can watch any football, like, but that's not it's not fun to me. Like I need to watch a proper football. So when it comes to boxing, it should be treated that way as well. But unfortunately, like, if you're a hardcore boxing fan, you watch every single fight, according to some people. That's not really true, man. Like, why should I watch? I might as well box with all of us. Like, we might as well start a division, like, and put it on TV.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just wrong, man.
Like you just said, right? Hardcore boxing fans, okay, and hardcore boxing fans watch a lot of fights, but I consider myself an hardcore boxing fan, but I would definitely not say I'm an hardcore boxing fan who knows a lot about boxing. But what I'm trying to say is I agree with what you said before. Just because you're an hardcore boxing fan doesn't mean that you should have to watch shit fights. Fights what don't mean anything. A proper boxing fan should be able to watch what they call for, or I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I totally agree with what Stormy said before about they've been mugging us off for years and we were in trouble before the COVID-19. I mean, I don't know.
I hear Stormy too, but at the same time, I think this time can be utilized at least for activity. You know what I mean? I'm not the biggest historian either, but what I do know is a lot of the fighters in the yesteryear, you know what I mean, had hundreds of fights, and those fights weren't all against credible opponents, you know what I mean? They might have fought, you know what I mean, every 2 weeks. A lot of the times every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, or whatever, that frequent, you know what I mean? This time could be utilized for activity, you know what I mean? We're not getting the best card, the best matchups or whatever, but at the least, we should be seeing some of the, you know what I mean, big ticket fighters fighting, you know what I mean, getting their activity up, you know what I mean, in front of the world, you know what I mean, getting that in-ring experience instead of wasting it, you know what I mean, just not wasting it, but just using all their experience in the gym. So most definitely we need to see the best fight, the best, and see the best matchups. But in realism, like I said before, this is an open enterprise. We can't demand, you know what I mean? It's not a league where, you know what I mean, where people can, they have a commissioner that can lay down the law, and that's how teams have to go by. That's how players have to go by. This is boxing, which is an open enterprise, and fights can get mandated to a certain extent, but that's only through sanctioning bodies. You know what I mean? It's at the end of the day, it's not the law. So I think that at the end of the day, in my opinion, this time, you know what I mean, can at least be utilized for activity.
Do you not think?
Go ahead and counter that.
Do you not think, though, Oddfellow, the fans should have a right to demand fights, and that the fighters should really obey by the fans' decision to call for certain fights? Because at the end of the day, it's the fans what are putting the money in the fighters' pockets. Because me personally, I see fighters of today, like Stormy would say. I don't know if Stormy said this, but he was along them lines. These fighters are mugging us off. I mean, a prime example, Dylan White calling this, that, and all that. But he's not willing, when he's had the opportunity to get in the ring with top opposition, he's walked his way around it, or he's somehow off to the side and totally. Do you know what I mean? We end the day, we're the us fans, everyone in the chat, everyone on the panel, everyone, all boxing fans around the world. End of the day, we're the ones who are paying their wages. So if the fans call for a certain fight, especially if you're a world champion, this is how I believe it and how I think it should happen. If you're a world champion and the fans call for you to fight either an up-and-coming fighter or someone who's in the same division as you, who's a champion or who's a threat, then you should, as a true warrior of the sport, you should go and fight them. Like I've always said, stressed over Dillian White, over that AJ scenario, I fucking absolutely cannot stand Dillian White no more because of the way how he moved his way around, calling Ortiz a fossil and all stuff like that. And then when he beat Derek Chisora in that second fight and knocked him out with that left hook, AJ got on the ring and said, yeah, we'll make the fight. And he said to AJ, yeah, let's make the fight. And then next thing you know, he was moaning that the Hearns, okay, it was a low payment, $5 million for free world titles. But let's be honest, when are you ever going to have the opportunity to have a fight for 3 world titles? It doesn't matter what the money is. If you offered him 200 grand to fight for them world titles, you take that bull by the horns and you fight him, you beat him, and then once you've beat him, then you can start calling on fights.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Dillian White, he talks and all, but he doesn't walk it, because in that ring when he beat Chisora, he was like, "Oh, AJ, yeah, I want to fight him. This coward doesn't want to fight me. This, that." And then when they made the fight, 4 or 5 million. To me, that's not even low ball. That's a lot of money, 4 or 5 million for like somebody like Dillian White. You know what I mean? Dillian White, who is Dillian White? He's not above that type of money. You know what I mean? So he should have took that fight. Yeah. And then but I think he's not confident in fighting AJ after that knockout, because I believe if AJ didn't knock him out. If he didn't knock him out, like Dillian White, I think Dillian White would have took that fight. But Dillian White, he wants that WBC belt, and he wants to come with leverage, so it could be like some sort of 50-50. That's what he's looking at. You know what I mean?
Can I just say this quickly, and I'm going to bring Stormy in before I forget what I'm going to say. Do you know what's always baffled me, right? This is one thing what's always baffled me about Dillian White, and still to this day, I can't fucking get the answer to this. Why the fuck, right? Think about this now. I'm gonna ask you all a question. Think about this very carefully. Why the fuck, right, did this guy scream from the rafters calling out Deontay Wilder, right? Why did he do that? Saying, I want to fight you, you're a ducker, you're a coward, and blah, 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 blah. Yet when given the opportunity to fight Dominic Brazil, he ducked him twice. Given the opportunity, he ducked him once, ducked Ortiz twice, called him a fossil, he's a dinosaur and all that. Ducked Pulev when he was given the chance to go and fight Pulev in Bulgaria for the IBF Eliminator. Yet old Yuri Fury had to step up and go do it. And he also ducked AJ for the WBO, IBO, IBF, and Super WBA. He ducked all of them fights. Yet he was always willing to fight Deontay Wilder. And I, for the life of me, can't understand this because he was tailor-made for fucking Wilder. He would have got destroyed off Wilder. But why did he always want to fight Wilder? In my eyes, me personally, I think his best chance was probably against AJ. But I don't know.
He was clout chasing. He was clout chasing Wilder because Wilder, whenever Dillian White was calling for Wilder, like Wilder was busy. He already had opponents and stuff like that. You know, I remember when he was saying, "Let's go, Wilder. You know, don't worry about Joshua.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, let's do it."
He
you know what I mean? Like
fucking sparked out off Wilder. I mean,
let me chime in here for a minute.
Go on, Stormy. My bad.
First of all, what I wanted to say prior to you getting on the Dillian White, I was going to say all it's going to take for boxing to turn around is for two guys to agree in principle and to come up back and face each other, and then the sport will have returned. That's all it would take. Two men who can fight one another in their division for whatever they have at stake. All it takes, it's like someone who's been striking and then the strikers decide to, you know, cross the line and go back to work or whatever. It's like, that's what it's going to take. But those two men who decide to do that, they will represent the best of what boxing have to offer because they put the petty shit aside, the selfish shit aside, and go out there and do what people pay to see. See, that's what it's going to take. Now, to move on to Dillian White, the thing about Dillian White is this. Prior to where he has arrived presently, he had something that a lot of people in the sport today don't have and wish they did.
Yeah.
He has gift of gab.
Yeah.
He has personality. And when he was undefeated before losing to Joshua, you know, that was something that, you know, many people didn't hear to him until he and Joshua mixed it up. And then people were like, oh, this Dillian guy, he's something. Quite engaging with his personality and his gift for gab. He has gone so far off track that whoever's managing him or whatever, it's like they missed their time.
Exactly.
See, he has become, let me finish, please.
Yeah,
he has become now something that is disgraceful. But while he had it, remember, Hector Macho Camacho had that mouth as well. And people would pay to see him lose. People would pay to see him win. People pay because they supported him. You see what I'm saying? And that's how you ride your wave. Win, lose, or draw, you have an audience that will come and support when you have an event because you have something that carries and transcends the sport. He's an idiot. He has totally ruined that for himself by not stepping up to the plate and doing what he's out there to supposedly do. Fight. If he had fought Ortiz and lost, people will still watch him because he talks crap and people like that. There's people out there that love that stuff. He could still get a fight just like AB can still get a fight right now if he chose to come back because people love that. Okay, when you have personality and somebody knock you on your ass and you get back up and you still talking, people say, oh, I love that guy. He takes a licking and keep on kicking, you know, that kind of thing. But Dillian White missed the boat because not only did he not agree to the terms that Wilder put out there for him to fight Wilder, he did not fight Brazil when he had a chance to step up and really actually get that spot if he was victorious. He didn't step up and fight Ortiz when he could have done that. He missed about 4 opportunities.
Exactly. Exactly.
And all the while kept talking crap. So now that becomes, you're just a mouth that people no longer want to hear. Push you to the side, get the hell out of our faces. But had he taken the matches and lost the fights or won the fights, he would have been that much better off going forward. And even if he had lost one of those fights initially, he would get a second and a third opportunity, because people say, well, at least he stepped up to the plate. But he didn't do that. He totally ran away and disgraced himself. You see, that's why you should look at Dillian White as a non-factor. What I clearly laid out. He was a personality in the sport that was refreshing. There's not a lot of guys who have the gift of gab. There's not. So that would be a working point for him. But the other end of it would be he have to get in the ring and fight. And that's what he hasn't done. And that's why he makes it so easy to dislike him.
Yeah. Right. Just before anyone stumps in, I'm going to point out something what you just said, Stormy. Okay. Totally agree with you. Why the fuck has Otto Wallin not had another shot? Because I heard you say before, bro, because I can't remember what you said, but we agreed on he wasn't ranked in the system. And when he fought Tyson Fury, he gave that boy hell for leather. And then all of a sudden he's disappeared. Why is it not fair then that Otto Wallin has not had another chance to fight Tyson Fury or fight someone else? Because that boy wants to fight. He's not ducked anyone. He's called Tyson Fury out several occasions. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. And Tyson Fury don't want that smoke with him again. So why is it fair that Dillian White can still be hanging around and bitching and moaning, but Otto Wallin has now just all of a sudden just disappeared off the face of the earth when he put in such a great performance against Tyson Fury? And definitely, if this was in the UK, he would have won that fight, because that fight would have been stopped.
What was the question again?
I'm just saying, like what Stormy was on about before. He was saying that salute to you, JMJ. Oh yeah, salute to you, bro. Got to give him a wrench. I'm just saying, like Stormy said before about Dillian White, we shouldn't take any notice of him because, you know, he's had all these chances and he ducked Ortiz and all this and all that stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm asking Stormy, because Stormy, we was talking earlier, like about half an hour ago, about Otto Wallin and like fighters who deserve their chance, and they've disappeared off the face of the earth now. Why is it not fair that Otto Wallin is not getting a shot at someone? It doesn't have to be Fury. It could be AJ. It could be anyone. But he's just disappeared.
You got to blame his promoters at the same time. You know what I mean? I forget who he with over here, but yeah, what's he doing? The last I heard that he was supposed to fight, I think, Lucas Brown, but the coronavirus hit. You know, dig? So that's his promotional team. His fault, you know what I mean, with not getting the word out, getting not just the word, but getting out of Wallin some proper fights. You know what I mean? Because he's not getting out there. He's not on no major network or nothing like that.
I know, but
he's kind of like a free agent. So
I was trying to piggyback off what Stormy was saying because of like character as well. Because Dillian White was liked, wasn't he, before? And Otto
Dillian White to me is just the
well, not
just
like, but he has
the agent
or whatever. I'd have to ask Stormy what he said before. Something I think he said gift of the gab. Could be wrong.
No, he said that basically like he's got the personality.
That's
like he speaks, but he doesn't back it up.
Gift of the gab as well.
Yeah, no, you don't back it up. You know what I mean? He's literally been handed handed what he's been what he has. You know what I mean? He's WBC showing him mercy by keeping him in the rankings, by gifting him an interim WBC belt. You know what I mean? I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm still suspicious of what really happened in the Oscar Rivas fight that was suspiciously made into a title eliminator. You know what I mean? Like the old question was, where is the B sample? Where is the B sample? You know what I mean? Dillian White is highly suspicious. But I mean, this guy, even with the Oscar Rivas fight, is like, what has Oscar Rivas really done? He knocked out Brian. I would say a past his prime Bryant Jennings in the last minutes of the 12th round, and that was probably as big as accomplishment. You know what I mean? As a fighter, and Oscar Rivas, who's undersized. Yes, he's an Olympian for Colombia, but he's undersized and didn't have much of a resume himself. You know what I mean? This is Dillian White's best win. Joseph Parker, if we rewatch the Joseph Parker fight, there's arguments that Joseph Parker was robbed. You know what I mean? Because Joseph Parker wasn't even knocked down; it was a headbutt. You know what I mean? The replay clearly shows that knockdown should have been ruled a foul, or just, you know what I mean? He should have got a break for that. You know what I mean? Because it was clearly a headbutt, not a punch. So Dillian White got lucky with that Joseph Parker fight. So the man really don't have nothing on his resume, you know what I mean, to put forth to even call him a high class contender or even a champion. We have to put some of the blame on the WBC for upholding this guy, keeping him highly in the rankings once again, having him as, you know what I mean, the despicable interim champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This guy parading around, talking on Sky Sports TV, talking like he's the champ. You know what I mean? Absolutely ridiculous. This is the time when Wilder was the champion. He was masquerading himself around on Sky Sports TV in front of UK national television, talking about that he's the real champ. And Deontay's ducking and all this, you know what I mean? Absolutely ridiculous.
I remember that.
WBC, did they give him any consequences? Did they reprimand this dude for that? Nah, man. They upholded it. You know what I mean? They looked the other way. Still with the B sample and all that shadiness with the BBC, you know what I mean?
Where's the B sample?
With the last minute meetings after the Oscar Rivas fight, not to mention the glove situations. He was wearing gloves that weren't, you know what I mean, that weren't commissioned or weren't permitted in the fight or commissioned to go on the fight, but he wore them anyways. So it's like there's so many things with Dillian White that he gets away with shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the thing is as well, odd fella, the thing is as well, bro, it's not only just that, like you were saying about his B sample and the glove situation. What did Eddie Hearn do after? He signed fucking Oscar Rivas. Oscar Rivas is now under Matchroom. And do you not think that's the similar?
No, no. I don't think that's true. I think Rivas has a co-promotional deal with Top Rank.
Oh, right. Well, I could be wrong then. I was just led to believe that Oscar Rivas signed with Matchroom because
that's what I heard as well. That's what I heard.
I remember talking to Mike and thinking, how fucking dumb is that? Yeah.
Thing is, though, I definitely think they paid him. They definitely paid him some money.
He's not worth Top Rank anymore.
Well, you know what I mean? To be truthful, I wouldn't be surprised because the same situation, like I said, with Joseph Parker. You know what I mean? To me, Joseph Parker has a legitimate claim. You know what I mean? I'd be like, yo, I ain't fighting in the UK no more. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have lost that fight. You know what I mean? But then you go back, you know what I mean, and sign with Matchroom. You know what I mean? That's some weirdo shit to me.
Now you know what I'm trying to say to you, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. He signed these as far as I was aware, I could be wrong. Eddie Hearn signed Oscar Rivas after that fight, right? He's same thing with Luis Ortiz, same thing with Joseph Parker. He signs them and then they're pushed aside. What's Luis Ortiz do under Eddie Hearn? Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, and then he was chucked to the side. Same with Joseph Parker. What? Where's Oscar Rivas? Where the fuck is Oscar Rivas?
He disappeared, didn't it? He got paid. He got paid handsomely. Let's say that.
Facts, Pep. That's what I'm trying to say.
The thing is though, with Dillian White, yeah, like I used to rate him. I don't think he's a bad fighter. I think I'm not going to be popular saying this, but I actually think he can beat Luis Ortiz. Dillian White. I actually think he can because of the left hook. If he can hang with Luis Ortiz, like later rounds, maybe he can get him with the left hook. Like
I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I wouldn't put any money on Dillian White beating Ortiz. I'd probably put on Ortiz.
It depends. If he comes like the way he came when he fought Marius Wack, no chance. Luis Ortiz is going to eat him.
I'd put.
But if he comes in shape,
knock him out. To be truthfully,
if he comes in shape, then yeah. Then I think Dillian White stands a lot of chance with because I know Ortiz later rounds he gets fatigue and stuff like that, obviously with age and all that. But like if Dillian White comes in like fat, like last time when he fought Marius Wack, then I think Luis Ortiz will knock him out. Yeah.
I guess so, Pat. You got to think of as well, Dillian White. His stance is trash. His defense is trash. His footwork's trash. And and after 6 or 7 rounds, he's wobbling all over the place like he's drunk. When he starts throwing them big over on rights, and he's missed a few. Luis Ortiz is too clever for him now. No, I'm taking that back. Yeah, Ortiz would knock him clean out, definite. That's why he's dodged Ortiz. Well, I always knew he dodged Ortiz for a simple reason, but still now I'd put £100 on Ortiz knocking him out. With him fighting.
The thing is, though, this is what I don't get here. Like in defense of Dillian White, like apparently he offered to fight Ortiz in the UK in the O2 Arena, but Ortiz said no, fight me in the undercard with the Wilder undercard.
That bollocks. Ortiz said to him, because Ortiz was on the Wilder and Fury undercard the first fight, and Ortiz said to Dillian White, "I'll drop off the Wilder Fury undercard." And I'll come to the O2, and he only had something like 4 weeks' notice. He said, "I'll come to the O2 and I'll fight you." And Dillian White fucking ducked him.
Look here, guys. I want to share something with you.
Yeah, go on, Stormy.
You guys remember Chris Bird, right?
Yeah, Chris Bird.
Yeah, Chris Bird. Yeah, he got knocked out by a bad unit.
Okay. Yeah, you remember. Okay. Now, Chris Bird, when he turned pro, he was 168 pounds. Nobody really wanted to deal with him or whatever, and he couldn't get a deal in boxing. So Chris Bird went up to heavyweight. He put on weight and a little bit of muscle to the point that he got just over 200 pounds. I think it was like 208, 205, something like that. But Chris Bird fought David Tua, Ika Biabuchi, both Klitschko brothers, okay? And this was a man who was naturally a 168-pound fighter. And if you look at him today, he's still walking around at about 170-plus pounds. Dillian White is a heavyweight. What is his excuse? There are guys that are out there today that aren't even as good as the guys I just said Chris Bird fought. What is his excuse? Do you see what I'm saying about knowing history, knowing these things that occurred in the past and everything, so you can make a proper assessment of what you're looking at today? This is why, okay? Because you do not give them an out. You do not give them an excuse, okay? Because they'll come up with them by the dozens, all right? But you hold these men accountable. Chris Bird beat Vladimir, okay? And he was in there handling his business with Ika Biabuchi and David Tua. And those men were stupendous punchers, okay? So he going in, he knew he could be, his head would be on the platter. You understand? But he still fought these men. He still fought them. He fought and beat Evander Holyfield. How many guys lost to Holyfield? Huh? Good fighters. So what we're talking about here, again, you can't give these men an out. Guys like Dillian White, he's a shit fighter. You don't have to continue to talk about who he's ducking or whatever. He's a non-freaking factor until he signs the contract to fight someone competitive, someone who's in the top 10. That's all he has to do, and start fighting people. It's a shame what they've done to Luis Ortiz. Because of the talent that he has, we haven't been able to see just how good he could have been or whatever, because he's definitely now on the downside of things. But this should not exist in boxing. They did the same thing to Rigondeaux. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why are we allowing this? Why, as fans, you say, well, you know, the guy ducked or whatever. Forget that guy. Cut him off at the head. Make it where, like, in order for him to get back into the conversation, he has to get his ass back into that ring against someone to compete against. That's all you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you don't even have to speak his name, because you know he isn't putting it out there like that. But there have been plenty of fighters who have paved the way and shown you exactly how. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Okay? But at the same time, when the fans see that you're a guy that go out there and you give your best, you give your all, you try, you get knocked down, you get up, people get behind you. People love an underdog. Okay? But people really hate a dog, a guy who's just not willing to do anything. They call them mutts.
Yeah, I basically want to speak about Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz, yeah, he had like 35 fights. He's been fighting since 2010. You know, before this, like, why has he not like fought other people? I don't understand this. Like, because he was undefeated when he fought Wilder. So, does anyone know, like, why has he not fought, or was he fighting in Cooper at the time?
Well, I can't. Yeah, I was going to say that I don't know about his beginning of his career, because I know in Cuba apparently you're not supposed to turn professional, are you? Don't you box in the Olympics and then if you want to, you're not allowed to turn professional? Is that true or is that wrong?
Because he started in 2010, according to BoxRec. His first fight was in 2010, but I'm not sure, you know, when he came to America, like, you know, because he was still undefeated until he fought Wilder back in 2018.
I know one thing.
I'm thinking,
one thing I can tell you about Ortiz, mate. He was the original boogeyman of the heavyweight division at one time for many years, for at least 2 or 3 years. I'm not saying Wilder ever ducked him. I'm just saying there was a hell of a lot of fighters what did duck him. Yeah, Shai's put correct, Loz. They have to defect or order to become. Yeah, exactly. I always knew something about that. It's fucked up. Cuba is. They put the fighters in the Olympics, and that's why 90% of the Cubans have fantastic amateur pedigree. They box fucking hundreds and hundreds of fights. But if you want to go to be a professional, you have to leave the country. Why, I don't know. Who was that famous Cuban fighter who Amir Khan beat in the Olympics? He was something like a 3 or 4 time Olympic gold medalist. He boxed all his life at amateur, never turned professional.
Yeah, but Luis Ortiz, he hasn't got any gold medalists. But Jupiter B said,
I'm just saying that's the Cuban background. They don't turn professional unless they move abroad.
Yeah, Jupiter B said, yeah, basically like he was with Golden Boy. They held a lot of people up there, and then he went to Matchroom. But like that, if he started in 2010, then that means like he's only been fighting for 10 years. He's like 41, so he started when he was 31 years old. So the thing is, like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, they might ducked him recently, but what about the people like Vladimir Klitschko's?
Yeah,
you know, maybe he was held up. Yeah,
Ortiz was ducked for years, man. I can remember reading the local rag for years about Ortiz, and I hadn't even seen him fight. I can always remember seeing this guy. They kept calling King Kong Ortiz, Cuban heavyweight, and then gone from King Kong Ortiz, they were calling him the boogeyman over here. And then that's when I to be honest, to be hand on heart, fairly, I only really seen him when he fought Dave Allen. I'd heard of him for 2 or 3 years, but I'd never seen any of his fights. And then I watched him against Dave Allen, and I thought, he's not that impressive, because Dave Allen's a good British level fighter, a good European fighter, but he's no world beater. And then I watched him after that, and I watched how Eddie, that's this when I tuned into the LDBC, and I watched how they strategically moved Luis Ortiz around and made him, just put him on the back shelf and made him fucking wait. And then that's what a lot of fighters did to him, didn't they? They wanted him to out-age himself before they fought him. And that's why I give Wilder mad respect, because Wilder was the only one at the time as well. Ortiz was unbeaten. He was still unbeaten. And that's why I give Wilder mad respect, because it was only Wilder who actually stepped up and fought him. And he's only got 2 losses to Wilder. So you have to give Wilder respect for that, because at the end of the day, it was Wilder who took his oath from him. No
apparently, he ducked. According to Jupiter B, he ducked Ortiz. Vladimir Klitschko ducked Ortiz for like 4 years or something like that. He was a WBA interim. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he was. And Eddie Hearn did the same thing. Can we all not forget when fucking Luis Ortiz was mandatory #1 for the WBA? And then next thing you know, Eddie Hearn signed him, promised him a 3-fight deal to have a fight with Dave Allen and then fight AJ next. And then next thing you know, he beat fucking Dave Allen. And then all of a sudden, it come up on... I remember coming home from work and seeing, next thing you know, it was scheduled AJ to fight fucking Povetkin. And the fight wasn't even made. But they came out, Sky Sports put it out on the website and on the news that AJ's to fight Povetkin. And I was thinking, hang on, how the fuck is AJ fighting Povetkin when Luis King Kong Ortiz was ranked #1 by the WBA? Next thing you know, Luis Ortiz did away with his contract with Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn signed him, and his whole plan was to put Ortiz on the back burner, because he knew Ortiz was a threat against AJ. How the fuck did Povetkin become #1 mandatory for the WBA? And the best of it was, if I can remember correctly, I don't even think, I could be wrong, but I don't even think Povetkin was even ranked in the WBA. He was ranked in the WBC. And then he got kicked out because he popped dirty against Wilder when he was to fight Wilder. If my mind serves me correctly, Povetkin
he was with the WBC.
Yeah, he was ranked with the WBC, but if I can remember correctly, he wasn't even ranked with the WBA. Luis definitely at the time, King Kong Ortiz was ranked #1 WBA mandatory, because Ortiz stayed in that ranking, and that was the only ranking really what he stayed in. Like Dillian White's fighting for his ranking for the WBC. But Eddie Hearn signed him. He fought Dave Allen, and the deal was you beat Dave Allen, you fight Anthony Joshua. He beat Dave Allen. Next thing you know, he got pushed aside, and all of a sudden, fucking Povetkin popped up from nowhere as the #1 mandatory. And the best of it was Sky Sports fucked up, because they announced the fight when it hadn't even been signed. So he's fucking bullshit, man. Fast Eddie and these fucking backhanders. He's like Bob Arum.
But the thing is, though, like Luis Ortiz, like, you know, that when I look at his list, the people that he fought, like, you know, Christian Hammer, Travis Kaufman, Razvan Kajanu, like that's like basically his last 3 fights or 4 fights, let's say, like, you know, like, I don't know, like, you know, some part, you know, obviously he has to blame himself as well. Like, it's not always just the promoter. He needs to sometimes these fighters, like, we give them a lot of passes.
Yeah,
like
exactly. But I'm just reading now what GPB just said. GB Boxing's just put lots. The WBA kicked Ortiz out of the rankings when he popped dirty for the blood med. Yeah, but the WBA kicked him out when he was to fight Deontay Wilder.
Wait, when he was about to fight Deontay Wilder, he was popped for juice. He popped as well, innit? So basically, Luis Ortiz is another drugs. He's another drugs cheat.
No,
he's another drugs cheat. Yeah.
Pep, this is what I'm trying to say. The WBA kicked Luis Ortiz out of the rankings when he popped dirty to fight Wilder the first time. But the best of it is the WBA never even tested Luis King Kong Ortiz. It was VADA, the WBC, who tested him. And because he tested positive for a medicine for his high blood pressure, and then it's the WBC let him fight, the WBA kicked him out. The WBA never kicked King Kong Ortiz out for popping dirty. They kicked him out.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, at the time as well. I remember Deontay Wilder saying like, "Oh, he cheated, like, he popped, but I'm still gonna give him a chance because, he needs the money and stuff like that." Like,
but Ortiz,
I remember that. Yeah,
Ortiz is not a drug cheat though. Ortiz.
I don't know. Like, that's what I heard anyway.
No, yeah, that's what they say. But look into it, Luis. Before
brothers, I'm gonna have to dip out.
I'm about to
once again. Salute to the whole chat, you know what I mean, that participated. Salute to the panel, Pep, Stormy B, Tyrone that was on earlier. I think Michael Johnson Boxing, and of course Lasty Boxing TV. Respect due to you, much appreciated for you shooting that link. You know what I mean?
I felt
Stormy B, what's good?
Yeah, I wanted to say, man, you haven't been on the chop session in a long time, man. Would like to get you back on there, man. You were one of the first brothers to kick it off with me, and it's been a long time. We need your presence.
Indeed. Yeah. We need to set something up. You know the email, fam. You know what I mean? I've been looking to get back on there still. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what it is. Respect to the OG.
Yes, sir.
Dude, Oddfella, I do like you, man. I remember you on Stay Ready's channel years ago. You're always on there with Ak, weren't you? I'm saying I always remember you on Stay Ready Boxing's channel.
Yeah. Stay Ready Boxing TV. Yeah. Stay Ready.
503 Lion as well.
503 Lion. You know.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
Right, before we get up out of here, because I'm going to get up out of here myself. I'm going to say peace to everyone. And thanks for coming through. I'm going to get up out of here myself, Oddfell, because it's been
3 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, my fucking arse cheeks are killing on this seat. But
yeah, man.
Peace to everyone. Oddfell, have a great week, brother. Pep, have a fantastic week. Stormy, have a fantastic week. And everyone in the chat, have a fantastic week. And happy Father's Day to everyone who's a father or lost a father. Because I lost my father, but
God bless us all.
So nice one, Pat. But God bless everyone. I'm up out of here. And peace
all
to
right.
everyone.
Salute to everybody. Peace.
Salute to everybody as well.
Peace.
Peace.